Hokage give me a face, Chapter 41-60. Chapter 41_Lure the enemy. The capital of the country of water, two Kurigakure ninjas slowly walked out of the city gate. They exchanged something in a low voice, and laughed from time to time, looking like they were in a good mood. Hey, those two idiots. The sudden sound attracted the attention of everyone at the gate of the city. Looking at the sound, a boy of a few years old was standing by the river in the distance, arrogantly twisting his butt. What are you looking at? What I'm scolding is you two fools, give me face, you all go eat shit. Yizan jumped and sprayed, and the two Kurigakure became more and more inexplicable, but when they saw Yizan's appearance, they were first surprised, and then their faces burst into ecstasy. It's the kid on the wanted list. Catch him, he is worth 1 million, then we will divide it into 3 or 7, I will give you 3. Good. Between the words, the two had rushed to 100 meters in front of Yizan. Yizan smiled and raised his middle finger, and the wind element chakra poured into his feet, jumped gently, and fled along the river. 2 chased and 1 fled. In less than 2 minutes, the 3 of them arrived at the corner of the lower reaches of the river. Seeing this place, Yizan smiled slightly, turned suddenly, and followed the route of the river into the forest on the right. Little brat, where are you going? The one who spoke was the ninja who wanted a 70% reward. Seeing that Yizan was running faster and faster, he finally couldn't help but use all his strength. Janan's chakra broke out completely, his speed doubled rapidly, and he rushed towards Yizan like a flash. It is not easy for Janan to break out. Seeing that the other party is getting closer and closer to him, Yizan is not in a hurry, hand seal with one hand, the next second, 2 pairs of light cyan wings appear, and they slap fiercely, like an angry bird, quickly rushed out, the max level futon wind style. Wind wing made Yizan's speed comparable to that of Janan who burst into full force. After just a few seconds, Kurigakure Chunin, who was at the back, couldn't see the two of them. He didn't give up, but headed towards the forest. No matter what, as long as he could help a little, the 1 million reward would always be there. Divide yourself some. However, at this moment, a wind suddenly sounded from the ear. The breath of death made Kurigakure Chunin's pupils shrink sharply. He didn't know where the danger came from, and he hesitated for a moment, so he lost his last chance. Swish! The strong wind blew, and an extremely thin bloodstain appeared on Chunin's neck. Yizan half-squatted on the ground with the chakra knife in his hand, and the wings on his back slowly dissipated. I'm not dead. Ha, I'm not dead. Chunin smiled happily. Although he felt a little pain in his neck, nothing seemed to happen. He looked at Yizan subconsciously, and turned his head instantly, as if the water pipe burst. Dozens of blood spurts frantically from around his neck, dyeing the surrounding 3 meters of land into yuhi color. Sorry, it's not that you didn't die, but my speed was too fast, and the chakra knife with the wind element was so sharp that it cut your neck, and the skin cells and tissues didn't respond. PFF'd. Head fell to the ground, and Chunin's eyes were still filled with the happiness of the rest of his life. Yizan stared at Chunin silently, his emotions did not fluctuate at all. Blow just now was his highest level of fighting with futon wind style. If he couldn't beat even a ninja of that level, his wind attribute would be worthless. Killing Chunin is nothing, the most important thing is another person. Yizan took a breath, looked up, and saw a black figure galloping from afar. When the black figure found Chunin's headless body, he suddenly stopped on a branch 20 meters away. What a powerful boy, is that Shadow Clone just now? Shadow Clone can be on par with me at full speed. If the chakra in the clone is not exhausted, I really can't do anything about you. Janan's tone was flat, and he was already shocked in his heart. He was shocked not only by Yizan's talent, but also by Yizan's wisdom. It turns out that you arranged everything from the beginning. The city gate mocked us, attracted us to chase you, chased the corner of the river and rushed into the forest at the same time, separated Shadow Clone, used the clone to attract me, and the main body attacked my companions, but I'm curious, how do you deal with me after spending so much energy killing my fellow Chunin? Or, are you going to run away with the magical wings futon, wind style, again? Escape. Why should I run away? Yizan shook his head. Even if my futon, wind style, can be equal to your explosive strength, I will always be a Chunin. I will fight chakra to escape. I can't fight you. Once when the chakra runs out, I'm dead. HMPH, the kid is quite self-aware. Since you know you can't escape, why are you still? Because, I was going to kill you from the beginning. Jonin was stunned for a moment by Yizan's words, as if he had heard a big joke. He held his mouth tightly, and then finally couldn't bear it anymore and burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. Boy, are you serious? Chunin thought. To beat me? What do you want to beat me with? With your thin arms and thin legs? With your Konoha, Kaden, fire style? Or the futon, wind style, just now? Or our Kurigaker, best Sweden, water style? Quote. You'll know if you try it. Yizan was calm, and there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. In Jonin's ridicule, he suddenly burst out, and instantly went behind the other party. The blue light in his hand bloomed, and he slashed away. Clang. The kunwu wrapped in the blue water attribute tightly pressed against the chakra knife. The wind element was sharp, the water element was smooth, one blue and one blue, without giving in. Don't be too complacent, you are not the only one who can achieve nature transformation. Jonin roared, and with a forceful stroke of his arm, the chakra knife and Yizan were knocked out with huge force, and he roared again, muscles all over his body piled up in blocks, like a savage gorilla, full of infinite power and brutality. Dare to underestimate my Zhaoshan family, and the price to pay is death. Chapter 42 Great Waterfall Technique. Clang. Clang. In the forest, two shadows flickered rapidly, and from time to time a sharp collision sounded, and a strong sound wave oscillated. Yizan bit Kiba tightly, his arms were extremely sore, and every time he attacked, he was repelled by the opponent's terrifying power. Yizan didn't expect that the other party was a Jonin with physical skills. Although it was just an ordinary Jonin, the physical skills were also average, and the blood stains were even more rubbish, but compared to the 7-year-old Yizan, the opponent's strength seemed a bit terrifying. The Zhaoshan family, Yizan had never heard of it in his previous life, and had never cared about the information of the Land of Water in his life. Seriously, the bloodstains of the Zhaoshan clan are very rubbish. They just use chakra to strengthen their muscles and double their strength. Don't look at it, doubling it seems to be very powerful. In the Konoha Akamichi family or any bloodstained family, the mere doubling of strength is considered the most rubbish ability. Zhaoshan, isn't it? Your bloodstains are too trashy. Believe it or not, within 20 years, your family will be extinct. Yizan sprayed indiscriminately while resisting the attack, as if he was talking about the opponent's pain. Zhaoshan's face was sharp, his right hand Kuwu held the chakra knife, and his left hand squeezed a fist, like a mad thunder, and instantly hit Yizan's abdomen. Boom! The air was shattered, Yizan groaned, his body spun upside down like a big kite for dozens of meters, and fell into the small river. Wow! Yizan quickly got up from the water, half kneeling on the water, bleeding from the corner of his mouth and severe pain in his abdomen. Even with the protection of chakra, his 7-year-old body could not withstand the attack of an adult. Boy, what's your name? You're a jerk. You said my Zhaoshan clan was going to be wiped out. I'll kill you first today. Zhaoshan roared. Stepping on the water, Yizan covered his abdomen with his left hand, and hand sealed with his right hand. Futon, wind style. Vacuum sphere. The three violently rotating wind bullets quickly charged towards each other. Zhaoshan smiled disdainfully, his body stopped suddenly, and his right foot stepped on the water surface, turning into a black shadow, easily dodging the wind bullet's attack. Futon, wind style. Vacuum waves. Whoa whoa whoa. The moment the hill was dodged, the overwhelming wind cut in a curved form blocked his retreat. Yizan was half knelt on the water, his eyes fixed on the hill. Boom! Dozens of wind cuts cut the hill into splashes, and after a while, the hill emerged from the nearby water. Water substitute technique is really disgusting. Yizan pouted, and his heart suddenly became alert. He almost forgot the metamorphosis of water doubles in the water, and wanted to hit the hills, unless the opponent was too fast to react. As long as he stood on the water, the hills could use the water doubles at any time. Fortunately, I didn't use the waterfall technique directly, otherwise I would use up all my chakra, and if I hit the substitute, I would lose a lot. I can't let him use the water substitute to escape. At this moment, the severe pain in the abdomen eased a lot, Yizan's eyes narrowed, and 2 pairs of wings suddenly appeared on his back. Futon, wind style. Wind wings. Quote. With his wings flapping violently, Yizan quickly rushed ashore, ready to escape into the depths of the forest, but Xiaoshan, who reacted immediately, burst out with chakra all over his body, chasing after Yizan. Little brat, don't run. Old bastard, don't chase it. You're still Jonin, you can't even chase Chunin. If I were you, I would have been hit and killed. Yizan scolded while running, so angry that Xiaoshan kept roaring. The speed of the two was as fast as ultimate, but Xiaoshan did not notice that when Yizan ran several dozen meters away from the shore, the wings on his back gradually changed. Almost. Yizan was sure in his heart that he directly cut off the chakra control. Futon, wind style, dissipated immediately. Yizan seemed to be powerless and staggered. All this happened in an instant. Xiaoshan didn't have time to control it, and passed by Yizan in an instant. He was a little sluggish. Suddenly, as if thinking of something, he burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha, little brat, your spirit is dying. I would say that controlling such a difficult futon, wind style, ninjutsu should be very exhausting. After all, you are only a few years old, and your combat experience is too far behind. Thinking that he had caught Yizan's flaw, Xiaoshan couldn't help but feel a little proud. He immediately stopped sprinting, turned around, and walked towards Yizan with a sway. At this moment, Yizan's face was pale, and he quickly stepped back as if afraid, and didn't stop until the edge of the river. What? Don't you run away. Koyama Yuzai approached, like a cat catching a mouse, teasing him before slaughtering it. It's not that I'm not running anymore, I'm just thinking, looking back on the battle just now, I'm reflecting on whether the rhythm of the battle is wrong, whether the ninjutsu is accurate, and whether there is anything that can be improved. This is what my father taught me, I grew up in the battle. Quote. HMPH, you have a good father, but unfortunately, these theories will not be used in the future, boy, die. Xiaoshan jumped and charged straight towards Yizan. The sharp kuwu shone with a cold light, pointing directly at Yizan's heart. When danger came, the paleness on Yizan's face disappeared instantly. He looked at the hill with a smile, took a few steps back, and walked into the river. You know, the weakness of water doubles. What? There was an unpleasant feeling in Zhao Shan's heart. At this moment, a deafening roar sounded, and then, the whole sky became dark. The only weakness of water doubles is that you cannot use water doubles when standing in a place without water. 100 meters wide and tens of meters high, the endless river water covers most of the day. At this moment, Zhao Shan is still charging, less than 10 meters away from Yizan. He can reach it in an instant, but he knows that he will never be able to reach it. Sweden, water style. Great waterfall technique. Quote. Rumbling. The turbulent river water instantly bombarded the hill, completely submerging the hill. The characteristics of Sweden, water style, are density, impact force, pressure and deformation. The more water there is, the stronger the impact force and pressure will be. The water pressure of several tens of tons of water style can even break ships and destroy houses. Although Zhao Shan extracted all the chakra to cover his body at the last minute, when the waterfall technique hit him, his whole body blood vessels were squeezed by the water, and he lost his life on the spot. Chapter 43 passed by once again. Physique. Kurigakur fighting technique, a blue, 20 ingots. Open black lens bracket Sweden, water style. Water dragon bullet B blue, 10 ingots close black lens bracket. Well, Kurigakur, Chunin seems to have performed some ninjutsu techniques like Water Dragon Bullet, but Zhaoshan Jonin's physical technique made Yizan's eyes light up, as if he had discovered the door to a new world. This is the first time that I have obtained a physical skill book. As expected of a physical type Jonin, I was so stupid at the time that I actually fought him head-on. Fortunately, I used the waterfall technique to kill him. Yizan was a little scared. Although he possessed a lot of ninjutsu, taijutsu has always been a weakness, not only because of his age, but also because he did not have a strong taijutsu teacher. Hatake Sakumo's physical skills are relatively good, but when I studied there, I mainly learned the nature transformation of the thunder attribute, and I didn't make much progress in physical skills, not to mention Danzo, the physical skills were weak. All Yizan's melee attacks rely on the super strong wind attribute to control the acceleration, relying on the sharpness of the chakra knife and his own speed. He may be invincible at the same level, but it is very disadvantageous to compete with Jonin head-on. Kurigakur fighting skills stay. Water Dragon Bullet cells. The balance of 21 ingots. Yizan was not ready to use it. He closed his eyes and felt the information that emerged in his mind. He knew exactly when to use what moves, as if he had been learning Kurigakur fighting techniques since he was a child. I have to admit that the ability of the face fruit has played an unrivaled effect at this time. After years of hard work by others, I learned it in an instant. Yizan said that the traveler's golden finger is really no joke. Huh. With a soft cry, Yizan withdrew from the consciousness space. The last waterfall technique used up all his chakras. At this moment, he was lying softly on the bed of Wen Izumi Hotel. Before the chakras fully recovered, he did not planning to go out. At this moment, a loud noise suddenly sounded from outside the door, and I listened carefully. It was the sound of the hotel owner killing a pig. Lord Ninja, I beg you, you can't trespass the guest's room. Get out of the way, we are searching for wanted criminals now. If you block again, believe it or not, I will kill you on the spot as an accomplice. The rude voice showed the impatience of the ninja, and then, door after door was kicked open, and the screams of countless men and women sounded, causing the entire hotel to be extremely chaotic. Boom! Was another loud noise. Yizan's door was kicked open, and a Jonin walked in from the door. He supervised Yizan, cleared his throat, and said seriously, "Little girl, we are now executing mission. I hope you stay on the bunk quietly. I will leave after I search your room." The braid tied by Yuhi's rope trembled. Yizan nodded obediently, and then the name Jonin entered the house and searched around until he left, without looking at Yizan again. Yizan never fights unsure battles. At the beginning, he spent a few hours figuring out the terrain around the capital, then took off his wig, changed into a boy's clothes, and washed off the makeup on his face with water. Clothes and charcoal are hidden in the hollow of a big tree. Then, he went to the gate of the capital city to mock Zhaoshan. After killing Zhaoshan, he took out the wig from the tree hole, put on floral clothes, and painted the cheekbones, chin, and eyebrows with charcoal. As if nothing had happened, he walked straight into the capital and returned to the Izumi Hotel where he had stayed for a few days. Yizan was found at the gate of the capital of the country of water, and two ninjas died. One of them was Jonin, the other was Chunin, and Jonin was the Zhaoshan family of the Bloodstain family. This news quickly spread all over the country. Yizan's strength and concealment ability became a topic of discussion, and Biwa Juzo, who was deceived by Yizan, became the laughingstock of the country of water. How can I fix it? How can I fix it? I swear I will kill you, bastard. On a medium-sized island south of the capital of the land of water, Biwa Juzo was tired. In order to find the culprit, he came from the border, restless and windy, dusty. After 2 days on the road, he was almost there. He had to find Yizan, otherwise, as one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, he would simply carry it in front of the other 6. Can't get up. At this moment, a ship came over from the vast sea. It was a ship from the capital. In addition to ordinary passengers, it also carried a Kurigakur intelligence officer. Lord Juzo. Speak. We have searched the entire capital and found no sign of that kid. What did you say? The terrifying murderous aura erupted, causing the intelligence officers to shiver. You must know that the person who passed the information was just an ordinary chunin. Even if Biwa killed him to vent his anger, no one would dare to control it. Biwa was really angry. The capital could not be found, which means Yizan disappeared again. Imagining the scene of being ridiculed by everyone in the future, Biwa was completely insane. He suddenly raised his beheading sword and his eyes suddenly swept to the civilians passing by. Can't find it. Why can't you find it? If you can't find it, kill it. If you see it, kill it. If you see the same height, kill it. How old is the child? Kill them all. 10 centimeters away from the child, Biwa slammed and restrained his actions with difficulty. Forget it. If I kill you rubbish civilians at will, I've committed a big crime. I'm not that stupid, Biwa put away the knife, and the child next to him who was scared to pee suddenly burst into tears. Perhaps because he was upset, Biwa jumped directly into the empty passenger boat. This boat is covered by lousy. You untouchables are not allowed to come up. Damn it, it's so bad. Boatman, get the boat for lousy. As Biwa kept yelling, the passenger ship left the shore and gradually disappeared into the vast sea. On the shore, among the civilians who had just landed, a little girl with a yuhi rope and a crocheted dress on her head waved to Biwa with a smile and passed by again. Chapter 44 Wait for the Rabbit. The day before yesterday, a target appeared on Tochigi Island, and Jonin Hanazawa was killed in action. The day before yesterday, a target appeared on Ishikawa Island, and Jonin Hayes was killed in action. Yesterday, Mie Island. Damn brat. Boom. The long table smashed. Biwa clenched his fists tightly, his body was shaking, he was angry, and he was about to go crazy. This is a small conference room. Besides Biwa, there are 6 other people. When the leader read the information in his hand, the scene was a little silent. Not only Biwa, but also Yizan was not caught. Everyone felt that their faces were dull. Tochigi Island, Ishikawa Island, Mie Island, and Jonin, the small mountain where the capital died. From the route, this kid turned back and forth after reaching the capital. What did he think? Did he know the news of the opening of the port? It should not be possible, although our country hides many rats of Konoha, but this kid hides too well. I guess these rats see and find him. Without intelligence sources, he can't get out of the mouth of ordinary people get the news. You said to me. The silent scene became lively again, and at the top, the man who had read the information remained silent. His body was thin and seemed weak, but he seemed to have infinite power. Soon, everyone looking at him. Boss, what do you think? Yes, boss, it's been a long time since the 7 of us did a mission together. This kid is not strong, but very cunning. For our reputation, we must catch him. Everyone said that the man just listened, until after everyone's voice disappeared again, he slowly raised his head, his young face showed vicissitudes and calmness. Munashi Jinpachi, you are wrong about one thing. You say that this kid is not strong, but you forget that he is less than 10 years old. According to the battle traces, he and Zhao Shanjonin fought very fiercely, and in the end, Zhao Shanjonin was even more powerful. He had a small amount of chakra because of his age, but his ninjutsu talent and fighting talent have reached a level that I have never heard of before. Even if I are Mizukage, Sama would not be able to defeat Jonin at a young age. The man's words shocked everyone, and then they remembered that, at some point, they and others had ignored Yizan's age and raised Yizan to the same level. Boss, I don't mean to teach you a lesson. This Konoha kid is not easy. If it is allowed to develop, it will definitely become a scourge to the water country in the future. This time, I will do it myself. The man stood up slowly, a dull pressure radiated around him. He glanced at everyone again, and said solemnly, don't hide the news of the opening of the port. Send the order down, let everyone in the country of water know that there are 2 borders on the western border. 2 ports are about to open. The first is Kyushu port to the land of wind, and the second is Nagasaki port to the land of fire. The 6 of you continue to search the country for the Konoha kid, and I. He paused for a moment, and then a cold smile appeared on his face. I'll go to Nagasaki port and wait. With my natural perception ability, as long as the kid dares to come, I'll let him come and go. Yizan didn't know that the 7 ninja swordsmen had set a trap. When the news of the opening of the border port spread throughout the country, he was overjoyed and couldn't wait to go back. Of course, in addition to being happy, Yizan also wondered if this was a conspiracy. Every time he went to an island, he went to the city's traders to inquire about news, and he came to the same conclusion. All the merchants believed that the opening of the port was an inevitable event. A country's fiscal revenue mainly depends on collecting taxes, and the taxes collected can do too much. Why do villages need a state? Why is the name so important? Because the village is only a department of the state, an armed department. Everything in the village depends on state resources. War requires money, and Kulu is also made of iron. Detonating charms, food and grass, everything needs money to buy. For example, Konoha, even if there is no war, the country of fire will give Konoha 1 billion funds for development every year. After all, when Konoha is strong, the country of fire will be strong. But where does the country's money come from? It's taxation. The poll tax is a small tax, and the main source of the tax is business. The more businessmen earn, the higher the tax rate, especially for those top businessmen. 40% of the money they earn every year will be handed over to the state. Blocking the port is only temporary. After all, the profits of transnational business are the most exaggerated. Even if the big name wants to block it, the people below will make trouble. Once he understood the essence of things, the next step was much simpler. Yizan let go of his guard, and even gave up his plan to continue attacking Jonin, and quickly marched towards the border. Yizan really wanted to go back to Konoha. The escape time seemed to be unrestrained, but in fact, he had to be scheming all the time, and he had to be careful. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. After taking countless boats and crossing countless islands, Yizan finally came to another port on the border, that is, the port from the land of water to the land of fire, Nagasaki port. Damn, it's really open. From a distance, more than a dozen merchant ships were moored at the port, and a dense number of workers were carrying goods on board the ship. The foreman stood on the deck and shouted, making the workers hurry up. At the ticket office of the passenger ship on the other side of the port, a shirtless ninja with short sleeves is guarding there, and the civilians who buy tickets and board the ship will be carefully checked by him. In order to reduce accidents, if the passenger ship does not go to the other side, we will take the merchant ship, find a cargo box, get in, and board the ship without knowing it. As long as you get on the ship, everything will be fine. Yizan felt that his plan was complete, so he couldn't help laughing, but the next moment, his face froze, and he was surprised to find that the ninja wearing a sleeveless short jacket stared at him silently at the ticket office far away, and then opened his mouth moved a few times. At that moment, Yizan felt an extreme crisis pouring into his mind. He turned his head and ran away without even thinking about it. Although he couldn't hear the sound, he got the shocking fact from the other party's mouth. Little devil, I finally got to you. Chapter 45_head of the 7. Call out. Call out. The grass swayed, and 2 shadows flew past. The 2 wings kept flapping, and the airflow made the air whistling. Yizan frowned tightly. He found that the shadow behind him was getting closer and closer. Futon, wind style. Wind wing can't outrun him. Elite Jonin. Yizan understands that if this continues, he will not only be doing useless work, but will also consume a lot of chakra. Since he can't escape, it is better to save a chakra. Huh. The wind wing disappeared. Yizan rushed forward a few steps by inertia, and immediately dodged to the side. In the next second, the black shadow swept over Yizan more than 10 meters. Abruptly, the chakra erupted, from extremely fast to extremely quiet, making the air vibrates violently. What a terrifying power. This person is really an elite Jonin. Yizan's face was solemn, and his eyebrows were furrowed more and more tightly. After a series of previous battles, Yizan's chakra volume has been raised to the elite Chunin, but compared to the opponent, it is not at all a level. How did you find me? Yizan took off the wig, tore off the floral clothes, and exposed the black combat uniform inside, which was remodeled by himself, close-fitting and sweaty, similar to Anbu's clothes. I'm a naturally perceptive ninja, and any chakra that appears in the port can't escape my perception. Although you are pretending to be a girl, I can't think of anyone else who has the strength of Chunin at a few years old. The man's face was calm, as if it was a very easy matter. He glanced at the chakra knife in Yizan's hand, then grabbed the two knife handles on his back with both hands, pulled it hard, and lifted the knife in his hands. Very good chakra knife, since you have a weapon, I'm fine with it, right? There is a problem. Huh. You dignified elite Jonin, bully me as a Chunin, and use weapons. You use weapons, but what do I have in my hand? I only have a short chakra knife, and you use flounder. Quote. Yizan pouted angrily, and his face was full of injustice. His appearance seemed to be greatly wronged, and he looked extremely cute. Quote. As if he really felt lost identity, the man actually put the flounder back on his back. He stared at Yizan silently for a long time, and then said, I can fight against Mizukage with flounder for a while and kill a Chunin. It is indeed a disgrace to the name of flounder, but don't try to escape. Even if you don't use weapons, you can't be my opponent. After he finished speaking, his calm gaze suddenly changed, like a bloodthirsty evil spirit, exuding a terrifying and fierce aura. My name is Gaidong Yaoyu, the leader of the group of 7, the owner of the double sword and flounder. Maybe you don't quite understand this, but I can tell you that my unsatisfactory brother, Gaidong Yueniu, died in your team. Hand. Boy, remember it clearly. Go to hell, but don't forget who killed you. Huh. A gust of wind blew, and an extreme crisis came. Yizan's pupils shrank sharply, and he turned sideways to avoid. Swish. The shadow passed by, a few drops of blood splashed in the air. Yizan covered his left face tightly, gasping for breath. Not bad reaction speed. No wonder I can defeat so many Jonin. The sharp voice, the blood-dropping kunai. Guilan Yaoyu sneered, her eyes cruel and strange. I don't use flounder, it doesn't mean I don't use kunai. No, what's your expression? Ha ha ha, be careful, I'm here again tilde. Call out. It was another charge, but this time Yizan had already reacted. He bit Kiba tightly. Instead of retreating, he stepped forward with his left foot, and stabbed the chakra knife in the past. No. He is a ghost lamp family. At the critical moment, Yizan finally remembered the things he had forgotten. Elite Jonin, the master of double knives and flounder, the strength of ghost lantern Yaoyu, belongs to the top masters in the entire water country. Although Yizan has the strength of an elite Chunin, he can only tie with the ordinary Jonin. If he makes a sneak attack, he can kill the ordinary Jonin, but it is obviously not on the same level as the ghost lantern Yaoyu. Panic and chaotic, anxious and chaotic, when Yizan suddenly remembered the characteristics of the ghost lamp family, the two were about to collide. 3 Jonins were slaughtered on the way to the border. After selling the book, the balance of ingots was 81, and the upgrade skills were enough. Fight! Yizan's eyes slammed, chakra burst out frantically. On the short knife, the cyan wind disappeared, and then a bright dark blue appeared. Raiden Thunder Style. Thunder Blade. Boom. The thunder exploded, scorching the surrounding earth. Yizan was knocked back 10 steps by the powerful impact. He coughed a few times, and a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. Visceral injury. Fortunately, it doesn't hurt much. The injury should be relatively minor. It's a pity that Raiden Thunder Style can no longer sneak up on him. It's a big loss. Yizan frowned tightly and did not take the initiative to attack. The gap between the strengths of the two sides was too large, and active attack would be easily caught by the other party. At this moment, the smoke from the explosion slowly disappeared, and Ghost Lantern Yaoyu was half knelt on the ground, her left hand covering her abdomen and gasping for breath. The blood had dyed Yuhi's left hand, and Kuwu in his abdomen were pierced by a sudden explosion of thunder. His face was hideous, and his pupils exuded unparalleled murderous intent. So it is. It is so. My unreal brother was killed by your sneak attack, right? I always thought that it was your teammate who killed my brother, and I thought I would never be able to avenge my brother in my life, but I didn't expect, ha 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 ha. The sky has eyes. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu laughed wildly, causing blood to flow from his abdomen. Suddenly, his laughter stopped and he stared at Yizan with a stern look on his face. Raiden Thunder style is very strong, but unfortunately, your strength is too weak. If you were a little stronger, I couldn't dodge the fatal wound at the last minute, maybe I would have died. As he spoke, Guilan Yaoyu's abdomen turned into water, and he controlled chakra to absorb water molecules in the air, and when it condensed again, the wound disappeared without a trace. In the land of water, apart from the water without the moon, my ghost lanterns have no nemesis. Chapter 46 _ Here comes. A burst of metallic sounds rang out in the wilderness of Nagasaki Island. Yizan tightly closed his mouth, and strands of blood slipped from the corners of his mouth from time to time. Give up, give up, give up. What are you still insisting on? It's better to be killed by me with a knife. Ha 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 ha. Ghost Lantern Moon is like a madman, constantly emitting sharp laughter. Yizan did not speak, and did not dare to speak. Futon Wind style is ineffective, Sweetened Water style is even more ineffective. The chakra blade flashes from time to time, and thunder and lightning rustle in the air. Facing the Ghost Lantern Clan, the elite Jonin of the Ghost Lantern Clan, and the elite Jonin of the Ghost Lantern Clan and good at physique, all Yizan's abilities seemed to be ineffective. He could only block hard, and his mind went blank. What should I do? What should I do? Facing the Ghost Lamp Clan, the waterfall technique is useless. I can't run away, and I can't beat it. What should I do? I have to admit that in the land of water, where even the air is full of water molecules, the blood of the Ghost Lanterns is naturally invincible. As long as they don't hurt the vitals, the Ghost Lanterns can use their bodies to hit everything hard. Raiden Thunder style is effective, but only if it hits the vital point. If it does not hit the vital point, even if it is injured, Ghost Lantern Yaoyu can instantly absorb the water molecules in the air and reunite the body. Yizan smiled bitterly. He didn't expect that he was exhausted, but fell at the last step. He felt that his arms were getting weaker and weaker, and the breath he was holding was about to dissipate. Once I'm relieved, I won't be able to hold on, right? It's all dead anyway. Yizan lost his mind and finally did not block the opponent's attack. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu smiled sharply and kicked hard with his right foot. Boom! Elite Jonin's kick was enough to kick the boulder. Even with the protection of chakra, Yizan was so painful that he lost his resistance. The most important thing is that this kick took away the suffocation and also kicked Yizan's last confidence. Broken. Yizan lost his confidence, and the chakra knife gave up resistance directly. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu found out. He laughed and screamed again, as if crazy. His eyes were bloodshot. Brother. My incompetent younger brother. Ah, my brother has helped you get revenge. He held Kuwu high and stabbed Yizan's heart with all his strength. At the moment of life and death, the whole world seemed to freeze. Yizan's eyes closed in despair, and the madness of Ghost Lantern and Yaoyu seemed so vivid at this moment. Boom! The sky was sputtering, and the imagined pain did not appear. Before Yizan could open his eyes, the familiar fragrance rushed into his nose. Tsunade, why are you here? Yizan suddenly opened his eyes, and sure enough, it was the beautiful face that caught his eye. The pretty face was sullen, worried, and had a trace of indescribable shame. I'm worried about you. I stole it from them without telling them. After she finished speaking, she quickly got out of the battle circle with Yizan in her arms. After that, the Ghost Lantern and Yaoyu, who had turned into a splash, also condensed and formed, looking at Tsunade with surprise. Senju Tsunade. Wow, big fish. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu's voice was still sharp, but not as crazy as before. As if thinking of something, he glared his eyes and looked at Yizan again. Senju Tsunade actually risked his life to dive into the country of water. Save you. Kid, who are you? I'm your father, my name is Gui Diangshuan. The arrival of Tsunade made Yizan regain his confidence. He raised his head arrogantly, ready to continue mocking, but the next moment, Tsunade raised his jade finger and gently knocked on Yizan's head. Boom tilde tilde tilde. Tsunade, what are you doing? Yizan covered his forehead in dissatisfaction. Can't you give your man some face in front of outsiders? Bah, little rascal, you are not honest when you meet. Tsunade was dissatisfied, and knocked on Yizan's forehead a dozen times in a row, until Yizan begged for mercy, and she stopped her finger in satisfaction. No, it's wrong. No. Wrong. Yizan rubbed her forehead aggrievedly. The pitiful appearance looked very cute. Looking at Yizan who was intact, Tsunade's anxiety finally disappeared. Zan kissed on the face. Don't think too much, I was just possessed by a ghost and made inexplicable actions. Well, let's take care of your girly heart for now. Humph. The two flirted with each other and forgot Gui Lan Yaoyu directly. That feeling, Gui Lan Yaoyu said it was terrible. The anger of the light bulb continued to surge, and Gui Lan Yaoyu's face became more and more gloomy. He stared at Tsunade and Yizan angrily, and said word by word, You, 2, 1. Grandson, can you leave me alone? I'm chatting with my woman. Little bastard, talking nonsense again. Oops, my Tsunade baby, didn't I mean to be mad at him tilde. You're obviously playing tricks on me. Tisk, baby is getting smarter tilde. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu. Chapter 47 _ Collision between elite Jonin. In the wilderness of Nagasaki Island, the atmosphere is dignified and full of murderous aura. After Tsunade came, Ghost Lantern Yaoyu didn't care about it, and directly took off the flounder on her back. Also in elite Jonin, Ghost Lantern Yaoyu was not afraid, but smiled bloodthirsty. You must know that this is the country of water, the strongest battlefield of his Ghost Lamp clan, plus the additional blessing of double knives and flounder, the right time and place are all right. Gui Lan Yaoyu, give me a face, put down the flounder, and I'll let you live. The sudden voice made Gui Lan Yaoyu's face stunned for a moment, only to realize that the abominable kid pointed at him carelessly, as if winning the ticket, and the appearance of Long Aocean immediately angered Gui Lan Yaoyu. Let you, mom, die. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu went mad again. He roared and rushed towards Yizan. His terrifying speed blew a sonic boom. His hands were raised horizontally, and the flounder radiated blue light. Boom. With a shock, a giant pit with a diameter of 10 meters appeared where Yizan was. Damn it, is this the basic attack power of the flounder? Not far away, Yizan's eyes widened in shock. It was not until now that he realized that the gap between himself and the other party was too great. If Ghost Lantern Yaoyu used flounder at the beginning, he would not be able to block even a single move. What is the power of normal attack? Little pervert, does this weapon have special power? Tsunade frowned, his tone a little dignified. You must know that the 7 people, Ghost Lantern Yaoyu, are the first generation of users of the 7 people of the ninja sword. Although all countries know the existence of the 7 people, no one knows the special effects of these weapons, which can allow the 7 people to use special effects. The person with the effect has already died under the knife of ninja. Well, Tsunade, listen carefully, the flounder has only one ability. It's called Flood and Flounder Liberation. You see the 2 round holes on the flounder. When the flounder is liberated, the round hole will emit gas and the whole flounder will be released. The hole glows, forms chakra aggregates, and then emits a chakra ball of light that bursts out, and its destructive power is enough to destroy anyone. Changiro used the flounder liberation to knock Sasuke and his Susanoo far and far away. That was Susanoo. Looking at the entire Hokage, he could repel Susanoo. There are not many. Yizan's words made Tsunade's face even more dignified. She stared at Ghost Lantern Yaoyu closely, and didn't dare to be distracted for a second. As if thinking of something, she looked relieved and suddenly pushed Yizan away, her eyes full of reluctance. Xiaozan, you should leave first. There are no other ninjas on this island. You go to the port and grab a boat and leave. I will come to you after I defeat him. What did you say? You let me go by myself. Yizan exclaimed, staring at Tsunade in disbelief. With the sudden farewell, Yizan didn't know what the other party was thinking. He suddenly took a step forward, came to Tsunade's side again, and gently squeezed the other party's jade hand. I'm your man, how can I escape? But Ghost Lantern Yaoyu, if it's a big deal to die together, if I can die with you, my life is worth it. HMPH, little perverts, they will talk about love at such times. I have a lot of knowledge, so it's not easy to be moved. Tsunade sniffed, but did not let Yizan leave. She gently broke away from Yizan's hand, flicked on Yizan's forehead. Hide away and let me do the next battle. After Tsunade finished speaking, she quickly restrained her emotions. Her gaze was firm again, staring at the ghostly lantern Yaoyu, and a strong chakra emerged, squeezing the green grass around 3 meters. What a powerful chakra, as expected of the princess of the Senju family. It's a pity, I am going to die here today. Tsunade like a gust of wind. The generous flounder held high. Tsunade's eyes narrowed, his knees squatted halfway, and when the flounder was cut down, he stepped on it hard with his right foot, and the figure disappeared instantly. Boom! The flounder smashed into the ground again, and the terrifying force smashed the ground, splashing the sky, and just as Gillen Yaoyu lifted the flounder, Tsunade suddenly appeared behind Gillen Yaoyu like a ghost, and she roared. The right fist burst out with green light. PFF'd. As if smashed into a tank of water, Guilan Yaoyu's upper body turned into water droplets and scattered, but the next second, with only half of his body left, he suddenly turned around and kicked hard, like a flash of lightning, blowing a violent gust of wind. Boom! Tsunade flew out with her arms crossed. Her physical skills were not weak, and she stopped to defend at the last moment. In addition, the Senju clan's physique was extremely strong, so Guilan Yaoyu's blow did not cause her any damage. The first time they met, it seemed like a draw, but in fact Tsunade had fallen behind. Although the two are both elite Jonins, they have different focuses. The most important point is that Tsunade's chakra-enhanced strength cannot change the nature of chakra while gathering excess chakra. Although the destructive power is amazing, it has no thunder attribute. Can't do any damage to Ghost Lantern Yaoyu. Come again. Tsunade roared, and could only fight Ghost Moon in a stupid way. Relying on the physique of the Senju family and the fighting skills they had cultivated over the years, in a short period of time, the two of them fought evenly. Earth-shaking explosions sounded from time to time on the island, and Yizan was silently hiding behind a big tree. He stared at the palm of his hand intently, blocking out all the sounds around him. A shred of electricity flashed through his palms, sweat dripped from his forehead, he bit Kiba tightly, and for the first time in his life, he concentrated Ultimate's mental power to a point, and then slowly ran the chakra. Chapter 48_Run Away, It's God's Punishment. Bang! Boom! The wilderness of Nagasaki Island was shattered, with hundreds of giant pits like a hornet's nest. Tsunade bent over panting and dislocated her left wrist. She immediately used medical ninjutsu to treat her, but her face became paler and whiter. No matter how strong the physique of the Senju clan is, it is impossible to carry out high-intensity battles without limits. The battle has lasted for a full 5 hours. The brilliant sun has also moved to the west, and the purple clouds are gorgeous, covering most of the day. Hey, Senju Tsunade, how long are you going to hold on? Ghost Lantern Yaoyu is also not easy to deal with. Although the blood of the Ghost Lamp family makes him invincible, reuniting after being broken will also consume chakra. He didn't expect Tsunade to be so persistent. He didn't expect the Senju family to have such a strong physique. It was obvious that every time they overwhelmed the opponent, they could kill each other many times, but they were always destroyed by Tsunade's explosions. As if endless. Of course there is an end, infinity is an illusion. Gui Lan Yaoyu understands this, and will fight Tsunade all the time, even if the 5 hours of body cohesion alone consumes more than half of the chakra, he still has to fight Tsunade. Originally thought that we could use the flounder and the hydration body to make a quick battle, but I didn't expect it to become a long battle, but because of this, Guilin Yaoyu really understood the strength of Tsunade. If you let it grow, it will definitely become Konoha in the future. The cage-level powerhouse. Can't let her go. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu's eyes narrowed, and absolute murderous intent emerged in his eyes, as if full of confidence, he would definitely be able to kill Tsunade. He picked up the chakra again and rushed towards Tsunade quickly. The flounder slashed across, and the violent power forced Tsunade to retreat. But this time, the flounder didn't hit the ground. He suddenly pulled the flounder with force, and the violent reaction force pressed his knees and rattled. However, at this moment, not only did he fail to cushion, but instead he burst out with chakra recklessly. The violent force finally crushed his knees, and with this impact, his body instantly caught up with Tsunade. Flounder, liberate. Shoo. The 2 round holes suddenly released hot gas, and the entire knife burst into a brilliant light. In the next instant, the light condensed on the blade's surface, like a big hammer, exuding a terrifying power. Everything happened so suddenly that Tsunade didn't react at all. Although she learned about the liberation of Flounder from Yizan, during the 5 hours of fierce battle, Ghost Lantern Yaoyu did not use it. The long-term high-intensity battle made her extremely tired, and she did not expect that the other party would suddenly use it. Come out. Medium. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu burst into a drink, and smashed towards Tsunade with all his strength. Tsunade raised his head in despair, and his beautiful pupils flashed with reluctance. I'm sorry, Xiaoshuan, I still didn't save you in the end. If there is a next life. Gui Lan Yaoyu, me. Fuck, you, mom. Moment, a roar sounded like a volcanic eruption that had been silent for thousands of years. The great terror that transcended everything changed the face of Gui Lan Yaoyu. The flounder was less than half a meter away from Tsunade. Over here. Raiden, thunder style. Rasengan Shuriken. The sharp chirping sounded like hundreds of millions of birds screaming. A smooth and rapidly spinning thunderball instantly pressed against Gui Lan Yaoyu. The irresistible force directly pressed him into the ground. It flew over Tsunade's head. Tsunade, run away, the farther you can escape, the better. The tender voice seemed extremely mature at this time. Yizan weakly fell into Tsunade's arms, and he passed out completely after saying this. Tsunade didn't understand the reason, but she just wanted to execute Yizan's instructions. She bit on the Kiba pass, ran all the chakras, and ran away frantically with Yizan in her arms. Just 2 seconds after she escaped, the ground was spinning rapidly and smoothly. The thunderball suddenly broke through a crack. Boom! Nagasaki Island shook, and the terrifying sound waves spread, causing countless waves. The ships in the port were turned upside down, and the merchants and coolies were terrified. Earthquake. It wasn't an earthquake, it was a volcanic eruption. This island has no volcanoes at all, it's an earthquake. No, look there. One of the coolies pointed to the distance, and looking from afar, in the wilderness a few kilometers away, a super thunderball with a diameter of 100 meters continued to rotate and expand. The ground shattered, and the thunder continued, as if it was going to devour the entire island. Is that a volcano? It's your sister's volcano, that's God's punishment. Run. Running away is God's punishment, who can escape? I have never done anything bad in my life, and God will not punish me. The coolies on the shore talked a lot, and all the merchants on the merchant ship were scared to pee. There is real punishment in this world. Run. Start the boat. Start the boat. The merchants are not as simple as the coolies. When they think of the bad things they have done, they scream in fear and let the merchant ship take them away. The merchant ship left, but the cargo was not full. Some coolies didn't care, and some coolies cried for an extra load of themselves. In the chaotic port, no one noticed that one black shadow rushed onto the ship with another black shadow on its back, and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Note: in the original book, the Rasengan Shuriken cannot be thrown, it can only be thrown after it becomes Sage Mode. Chapter 49 _ The 3 chapters of the Covenant tilde. The cold moon hangs in the night sky, the silver glitters, and the sea is sparkling. The merchant ship swayed, making, crunching, sounds from time to time. Deep 2 floors below the cabin, Tsunade sat on the ground, leaning against the suitcase tiredly. Her chakra had been used up, but she forced her body to continue producing chakra. The green light in her palm was weak, but it never disappeared. She did not dare to interrupt the treatment, because Yizan's right hand was charred black. The cells are destroyed by the thunder attribute. If the cell regeneration cannot be promoted in the fastest time, Xiaoshuan's right hand will be completely useless. Thinking of this, as soon as Tsunade bit Kiba, the green light intensified again, her brain was chaotic, and her body was shaky, but every time she wanted to fall, Yizan's smiling face appeared in her almost unconscious consciousness. Can't sleep, I'm sleeping, Xiaoshuan's right hand is gone. This voice continued to strengthen her will, forcing her to use all her strength to extract chakra from the cells. She held her eyes hazy, and she didn't know when. A stream of clear Izumi-like water flowed out of the meridians, and the meridians, which were in severe pain from the extraction of chakra, were instantly refreshed. What's going on? Tsunade's consciousness gradually became clear. She suddenly opened her eyes, and unexpectedly found that the chakra in her body filled up again. No way. I broke through. Tsunade was extremely shocked by the sudden appearance, and then, a happy smile appeared on her face, her hands were crossed, and the chakra suddenly increased. Palm Sage Art. Immediately, a green light filled the entire cabin. Accidentally broke through the quasi-shadow powerhouse. Tsunade was not happy at all for the increase in strength. She put all her thoughts on Yizan, and the smile on her face was only because the chakra was full and she could perform advanced healing ninjutsu. Great, Xiaoshuan is saved. When Yizan woke up, 2 full days had passed. He didn't open his eyes, but silently felt the situation around him. The ups and downs of a ride, it is obvious that he is lying on someone's back, the familiar fragrance, that is to say. Following the ups and downs of walking, Yizan's hands kept swaying in front of Tsunade's murderous part, and he didn't know when, the shaking became stronger and stronger. Several times, his little paws touched Tsunade's murderous part. Snapped. Hand hurt and she was hit hard by Tsunade. She flipped the Byakugan and continued to walk forward. Little pervert, move your hands and feet as soon as you wake up, and if you move again, I won't carry you back. Tsunade warned, but Yizan didn't respond. He pretended to be unconscious, and after a few minutes, he touched Tsunade with his paw again. Boom. Ouch. Zan shouted and rolled on the ground while covering his butt. Okay, little pervert tilde. Tsunade was helpless. His jade fingers pressed Yizan's forehead, and slowly moved closer. Little pervert. About chapter 3 tilde. Don't touch my murderous part. Don't blow it next to my ear. Don't let it go saying that I murdered my husband all day long, as a reward for the 3rd chapter of the contract. She hesitated for a moment, a hint of shyness flashed in her eyes, then moved her head forward and gently pressed against Yizan's lips. His lips met. Yizan opened his eyes wide in surprise. Then, he closed his eyes and hugged Tsunade gently, enjoying Tsunade's first initiative wholeheartedly. 1 minute, 5 minutes. I don't know how long it took. When the two were almost out of breath, they finally separated. Strand of silver thread was pulled from the lips of the two of them. Tsunade pursed his lips, and turned his head with a face full of yuhi, not knowing how to end it for a while. At this time, it was time for Yizan to show his masculinity. In order to hide Tsunade's shyness, Yizan acted as if nothing had happened, and directly pulled Tsunade to his feet, looked at the road ahead, and strode forward. Go. Let's go. Oh. Tsunade lowered his head shyly, and was led by Yizan as he walked forward. The setting sun pulled their shadows slender, but the connection between them seemed to never be broken. Konoha. In the conference room of the Hokage building, except for Sarutobi Danzo, the patriarchs of all the families and all the elite jonin of Konoha gathered together. This morning, there was an urgent report that the Sand Ninja Vanguard had broken into the Country of Fire and occupied 5 cities on the border. All the ninja strongholds we set up in the city were destroyed. The situation is very urgent. Sarutobi's face was very ugly, and the pipe knocked on the table from time to time. The land of wind is going to move, and the land of water should be moving soon. Sarutobi, I suggest that our troops set off immediately. The land of wind will go to war directly, and the land of water will build a defense line. If Kurigakure really attacks, at least they can do it. Cut your losses a little. I know, if all the ninjas are sent out, what will happen to the other 2 countries? I have sent messengers to Lei and Turkey to lobby for an alliance. There is no news yet. If the lobbying fails, Lei and Turkey will definitely take the opportunity to attack. Who shall we send when the time comes? After Sarutobi finished speaking, Danzo was also silent. In fact, everyone knew that the Konoha crisis, with the urine of the 2 countries, would almost certainly attack him. Sarutobi and Danzo were silent, as were the 2 advisors. Below, the Uchiha and Hyuga chiefs also seriously discussed feasible plans. Faced with the almost foregone conclusion of the 4-nation attack, everyone temporarily abandoned their prejudices. They knew that if Konoha disappeared, his own family will also perish. Hey, with the strength of our Konoha, it is absolutely impossible to defend against the 4 countries, unless one country gives up the attack and defends against the other 3 countries, there may be a glimmer of hope. It's easier said than done to make a country give up the attack. Now we are just fish and meat on the knife's edge. Anyone wanting a piece of the pie is unrealistic. Who says it's not realistic? Boom. With a loud bang, the door of the conference room was kicked open. The sudden appearance caught everyone's attention, and then they saw Tsunade walk in with a very familiar child. Who said it can't be realistic? Is it difficult for a country to give up attacking? Lao Su can do it alone. Yizan held his head high and stood at the door with a domineering side, but his domineering did not last for a second. His forehead hurt, he covered his head, and squatted down pitifully. Idiot, you don't need to write a draft when you lie. Ah, Tsunade, I was serious just now. Chapter 50_Dead Monkey, you wait for me. Yizan's appearance didn't surprise most people. They knew that Yizan was Danzo's son, and he often caused trouble, so it was not a big deal to go to a meeting. But very few people were stunned by Yizan's appearance. Anbu is an organization directly under Hokage, and only a few people know the true identities of Anbu members. Only Tsunade knew about the news that Yizan was almost dead in the land of water, except Sarutobi, Danzo, the 2 advisors, and Hatake Sakumo, so when Yizan appeared in the conference room, these people's eyes widened in disbelief. Excited. Of course excited. Danzo stared at Yizan, his hands shaking constantly. He prayed every night, hoping that Yizan would return safely, but when Yizan appeared, he felt that everything was so illusory and unreal. Is that really Shaozan? He asked Sarutobi happily and scared. His voice was very small, for fear it was just a dream. If it's not a dream, it's Shaozan. Sarutobi also doubted everything. Maybe he just entered Danzo's dream. How do I know that I'm not dreaming? You know if it's a dream, don't you? My old friend. Sarutobi's words suddenly enlightened Danzo. He clenched his fists tightly, but he couldn't suppress the emotions in his heart. There are a lot of people, so let's wait until the meeting is over before asking. Sarutobi patted Danzo on the shoulder, and finally suppressed Danzo's emotions. Even so, Danzo could only reluctantly suppress it. Open your mouth, and the backlog of emotions will be released uncontrollably. Only a few people knew about Yizan's deep involvement in the land of water, but the situation of the other person really shocked the audience. Tsunade. With a weird cry, Jiraiya rushed to the gate. He glanced at Tsunade from top to bottom. His voice stuttered, You. Breakthrough. Following Jiraiya's words, the entire conference room suddenly became a sensation. You must know that the people attending the meeting are the patriarchs of the various families, and they are all veteran elite jonin. Generally speaking, as long as they are not higher than their own level, they can see the general strength of the other party. This time, after Tsunade came back, his breath was restrained and he didn't reveal a single drop. Except Sarutobi Danzo, no one could feel Tsunade's strength. Congratulations to Tsunadeheim for breaking through, becoming a quasi-cage level powerhouse at a young age, and we at Konoha will definitely add another cage level powerhouse in the future. Congratulations, Tsunade is worthy of being the granddaughter of the first generation, and I think the first generation will be proud of you. Congratulations to Princess Tsunade. May I ask if Princess Tsunade ever got married? I have a nephew who is handsome, smart, gentle, and amazingly talented. I think my nephew and Princess Tsunade are a match made in heaven. For a time, most of Konoha's patriarchs ran to Tsunade to show their affection, and some even wanted Tsunade to be their daughter-in-law. Squeezed away, Yizan pouted in anger. Tsunade, you are not allowed to agree to that marriage, you. Ouch. I don't know who made the black hand, and directly pushed Yizan into a big somersault. Seeing Yizan's aggrieved appearance, Tsunade felt anxious, and the quasi-cage level chakra burst out suddenly. You, get out of my way. Boom. The Hokage building shook violently, attracting hundreds of Anbu surrounding them to burst into the venue in an instant, but when they found Tsunade's powerful chakra and terrifying fist, they quietly withdrew without saying a word. Tsunade was angry, and the patriarchs gradually sobered up. Anyway, they were thick-skinned. They returned to their seats as if nothing had happened. Humph, you people. Yizan got up from the ground angrily and walked straight to the group of patriarchs. He stared at each of them with wide eyes. He had been slapped by a black hand just now, but he wouldn't forget it. Pity that Konoha's patriarchs are all old fritters. No matter how strong Yizan's mental strength is, he has not found the flaws shown by the patriarchs, which means that he has been bullied for nothing. The conference room gradually changed from chaos to tranquility. Sarutobi, who was at the top, coughed lightly. Although Tsunade's breakthrough also surprised him, but now a quasi-cage level powerhouse, Sarutobi couldn't be happy at all. Everyone, it's an important meeting. You can either send Tsunade gifts or be a matchmaker. We'll talk about it when the meeting is over. He paused for a while, and then slowly said, 4 countries, 4 shadows, maybe there won't be too many strong men in the vanguard, but when the war reaches a certain level, the shadow of the 4 kingdoms will definitely be dispatched. For the time being, let's not say whether our Jonin Chunin is enough or not. If it is considered a top combat power, I can resist Reikage, Danzo can resist Tsuchikage, although Minister Anbu is not cage level, he can also resist Kazekage or Mizukage with all his strength, but always. There's only one left, don't settle this matter. I said dead monkey, are you a fool? Sarutobi was stunned by the sudden revelation. He looked at Yizan stupidly, his eyes full of inexplicable, Xiaozan, why are you scolding me again? Shouldn't I scold you? I said it before, and leave the rest of the country's affairs to me to solve. Did you not hear it, or did you look down on me? I heard, but I looked down on you. Yizan, you wait for me, I remember you. Chapter 51 One person wants to destroy the country of water. The meeting ended with Yizan's clamor. No one could come up with a solution. Sarutobi was helpless and could only announce the end of the meeting. At this moment, Yizan was sitting on the table in the conference room, with his arms folded, his head held high, and his eyes closed with a displeased expression, no matter what Sarutobi said. Hey, Xiaozan, I was just a little excited, just kidding. As the most talented little genius in our Konoha, how can I look down on you? Sarutobi rubbed his hands together, his face very embarrassed. After all, what Yizan said was so amazing that he subconsciously thought it was a child's nonsense. Sarutobi watched Yizan grow up, and he also understands Yizan's character better. Judging from Yizan's current attitude, it is obvious that there is really a way. Yizan ignored him. Sarutobi could only turn his head to Danzo. He was about to speak, when he saw Danzo snorted coldly and blocked himself directly back. You look down on Xiaozan. Just look down on me, Sarutobi, you can do it yourself. Danzo simply put his hands into his long sleeves and acted as an outsider with his eyes closed. This was difficult for Sarutobi. He seemed to remember something. His eyes lit up and he turned his gaze to the other person. Tsunade. Okay. Tsunade sighed, her face full of helplessness. She walked up to Yizan and gently tugged at the corner of Yizan's clothes, and said softly, okay, little rascal, you see that teacher Sarutobi has apologized, and borrowed your favorite sentence. Just give me a face. Forgive Sarutobi teacher, how? Humph. Yizan snorted lightly, and finally opened his eyes, but it was not so easy to make Yizan compromise. He tilted his head directly and put his right cheek against it. Kiss it, let it go. Yizan's condition made Tsunade's face full of yuhi. You must know that although the meeting has ended, Danzo, the two major advisors, and Jiraiya and Orochimaru have not left. Especially Jiraiya, when he heard that the goddess in his mind was going to kiss someone, he immediately widened his eyes and looked at Tsunade with anxiety. Tsunade, don't kiss, you are the Princess Tsunade in my mind, what are you doing? You can kiss someone casually. Jiraiya, shut up. A loud roar, Jiraiya immediately shrank his shoulders in fright. He glanced at Sarutobi pitifully, and muttered in a low voice, teacher is so partial, so kind to Shimura's little brat, to me. If you had a solution to Konoha's crisis, I would be so gentle with you. Sarutobi said lightly, then turned back. His face became amiable again. Xiaozan. Dead monkey, don't try to get too close. I won't talk if Tsunade doesn't kiss me today. Yizan still tilted his head, and brought his face closer to Tsunade again. Looking at the profile face that was so close, Tsunade pursed his lips, and finally reached over while everyone was watching, and lightly printed it on Yizan's face. Bood tilde. Yuhi's color mouth. Yuhi printed a lip shape. Tsunade took a few steps back with a face full of yuhi, feeling the surprised eyes of the people around her. She finally couldn't help her shyness, and ran out of the meeting room. Tsunade left, but Jiraiya got angry. He pointed at Yizan angrily, and yelled, huh. Tsunade actually kissed this kid. I chased her for so many years, and I haven't touched her. This is not fair. Idiot. Bastard Orochimaru, why do you call me an idiot? Hehe, idiot. Try another curse. Believe it or not, I'll fight you. Idiot. Orochimaru, you are finished, I must. Boom. A loud bang, Jiraiya screamed and flew out of the Hokage building. He kept yelling, but his voice became smaller and smaller, and finally turned into a star. Cough cough, Xiaozan, don't worry, Jiraiya is an idiot, you see, Tsunade kissed him too, or... Tell me about your plan. Sarutobi was full of smiles, but Yizan didn't intend to give Sarutobi face. He sighed and blinked his eyes. After pondering for a long time, he slowly said, Dead monkey, maybe you think, what strategy do I have to stop a country from attacking, right? You guessed it wrong, but what I really mean is that I can destroy a country by myself. Quote. Sarutobi. Danzo. The setting sun hangs in the distant horizon, hesitating and reluctant to fall. The breeze blows, and the little flowers on the windowsill sway happily, as if singing a song. The windowsill of Shimura's house is facing the setting sun, and there is no building block in the straight line distance. Yizan likes this arrangement very much, and his appetite for dinner is also very good. The main reason is my own negligence. In order to confuse the public, Guilan Yaoyu sent the other 6 people and the rest of the ninja to search across the country. In the end, he was the only one left on the island. I didn't expect him to be a natural sentient ninja. Quote. In other words, you killed the leader of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Danzo held the rice ball in shock and stopped for a while. Well, it doesn't count, you know that my mental power surpasses that of ordinary people. The 5 hours of Gillen Yaoyu and Tsunade's battle was enough to restore all my chakras. It took me a full 5 hours to develop this chakra. S-rank ninjutsu, and in the end, it was because Guilan Yaoyu focused all her attention on killing Tsunade that I succeeded in the sneak attack. Yizan did not say the completeness. Although he developed Raiden Thunder Style Rasengan by relying on his Super Raiden Thunder Style talent, super chakra control and memory from his previous life, but with the amount of chakra of his elite Chunin, he couldn't at all use a complete S-rank ninjutsu. Fortunately, it only takes 40 ingots to upgrade S-level ninjutsu to blue. After Yizan developed it, he immediately upgraded, and his proficiency and power were improved. Not only that, in order to achieve the effect of one-hit kill, Yizan also superimposed the double power of the Heart of the Strong on the Raiden Thunder Style Rasengan, which resulted in a huge range of 100 meters in diameter. Ghost Lantern Yaoyu at the center of the explosion was turned to ashes by the ravaged thunder and lightning, and not even a single cell remained. Humph! You bastard, this time it's your fate. If Tsunade didn't tell everyone to save you, you would have died in the hands of Ghost Lantern Yaoyu. You are not allowed to go out recently. Go to Anbu to learn knowledge first. Really, I can't stand it. I don't even know the secret code and concealment, and I dare to go out to do the task. Danzo shook his head, put down the rice ball and left the dining table. He opened the door and was about to go out. He seemed to have thought of something. He turned around and instructed. Also, write down your plan for the collapse of the land of water tonight, and join me in the secret meeting tomorrow. Quote. Next Wednesday night, Thursday, January 28th, at 12 a.m., when will it break out? More. Over 1,000 subscriptions, 15 updates. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 52_Waterland Collapse Plan. The secret meeting refers to the secret meeting of 4 people at the highest level of Konoha. The next morning, Yizan took a large stack of paper and followed Danzo into the Hokage building. The place for the 4-person secret meeting is not a conference room or the Hokage building, but a special room. The room was neat and clean, lit with sandalwood, and a barrier was specially set up to prevent anyone from snooping. In it, no words could be sent out, and it was the safest place for decision-making. In the room, Danzo, Sarutobi, Kaharu Udatane, and Homura Mitokado were sitting in 4 directions, and Yizan was standing beside Danzo. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Yizan's hands. 3 months. As long as you give me 3 months, the country of water will absolutely collapse. Danzo didn't read the content on the paper. In Yizan's words, it wouldn't be fun if you knew it in advance. He deliberately took it out on this occasion to shock everyone. After Yizan vowed, all the pupils in the room shrank, and their hearts couldn't help but be shocked. 3 months. What a big tone. Shaozan, you're not making us happy, are you? Homura Mitokado's face was serious, but the vibrations in his heart continued to sweep like a tsunami. Curious. Extremely curious. What kind of person Yizan is? Everyone has their own evaluations, but if it is as he said, the country of water collapses in 3 months, then this plan is too terrifying. 3 months. What is 3 months? The land of water has 21 large urban islands, 33 medium-sized town islands, and 76 small rural islands, with a total population of tens of millions. Just 3 months. Everyone didn't believe it. Even Sarutobi didn't believe it. He took the paper in Yizan's hand with concentration, frowned tightly, and read it very seriously. In the room, all voices disappeared, and everyone was staring at Sarutobi, wondering how this collapsed plan could succeed in 3 months. And if the plan is successful, wouldn't it be possible to destroy the country of water in 3 months, and the country of wind in 3 months? Just in 1 year, the other 4 countries will be finished. Thinking of this, Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado looked at Yizan with a hint of fear, while Danzo nodded proudly. See, this is my son. The expression on his face, like any parent, is proud of his son. A full half an hour passed like this. After half an hour, Sarutobi sighed and put down the planning paper. He frowned and kept rubbing his temples. After a long time, he looked up at Yizan. As for the plan, what do you need? It's clearly written on the paper. I want the cooperation of all the spies in the land of water, the cooperation of all the Anbu, in Konoha, and 10 billion taels. 10 billion. Hearing Yizan's understated tone, even Danzo couldn't help but suffocate. What is the concept of 10 billion? The total funding allocated to Konoha by the Land of Fire for 10 years. Konoha by the Fire Nation account for 40% of the country's total income every year. What do you need so much money for? Wouldn't this so-called collapse plan of the Land of Water be to buy off all the officials of the Land of Water? Let people including the Prime Minister defect. The three of Danzo were stunned one after another, and then they pressed their shock and looked at Sarutobi silently. Shaozan, this is not a trivial matter. If we make a mistake, our Konoha will be finished. 3 months, can you guarantee it? Sarutobi said solemnly. 3 months, not much, if it's fast, maybe half a month ahead of schedule. Yizan nodded confidently. 10 billion taels, is that enough? Enough. Sarutobi's words shocked everyone again. This special cat really wants to give Yizan 10 billion. And it's not enough. Either Sarutobi is insane, or the plan works, which makes the three of them even more eager to watch the plan right away. 10 billion is enough. If there is no accident, I will pay you back 15 billion to 20 billion in 3 months. When Yizan said this, the three of them thought that Yizan was crazy. Not only Yizan, but even Sarutobi was also crazy. They really can't figure out how to use money to deal with enemy countries and still make money. Okay, the matter is settled. You go and call Hatake Sakumo now. I will let him lead all Anbu members to assist you. And the shadow spy troops of the Water Kingdom don't have to worry, their commander is Sakumo. Well, then I'll go first. Remember, this time the plan is only known to the 5 of us. Before the plan is completely successful, we must not leak any information out. I wrote it very clearly on paper that this kind of plan can only be implemented once. The second time cannot be successful, it must not be leaked. Quote. Don't worry, I won't leak it, and your father won't. Elder Kaharu and Elder Menyon are loyal to Konoha, and they won't leak it either. Go ahead. With Sarutobi's assurance, Yizan turned and left the room. After that, Sarutobi breathed a sigh of relief again, and the brows that had been anxious for 10 days were finally relieved. Let's watch it together. This is Xiaoshuan's plan. Danzo, your son, what a great genius. Next Wednesday night, that is, Thursday, January 28th, it will be on the shelves at 0:00 in the morning, and 10 updates will break out by then. If the subscription exceeds 1,000, there will be 15 more updates. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 53 block the school gate. Konoha doesn't have 10 billion, so naturally he has to borrow so much money from the great name of the country of fire. On the same day, Sarutobi asked Danzo to bring a group of root members to escort Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane to the capital of the Land of Fire. Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane were responsible for the negotiation, and Danzo and the root members were responsible for the safety along the way. For this plan, Sarutobi has already bet everything on Yizan. Seriously, Sarutobi really doesn't want to gamble Konoha's future on Yizan, but in the face of the Four Kingdoms crisis, no one can figure out a way. The Water Country collapse plan is the last hope to save Konoha. Although Sarutobi does not understand the theory of the plan, the success rate is still very high. Well, if you can understand the theory in the plan, am I a 21st century man who has lived in vain? Yi Xuanchun walked on the street with a face full of wind, and strolled the streets leisurely. It's not that Yizan is very leisurely, but the implementation of this plan requires the assistance of many people. Hatake Sakumo is still holding a meeting in the conference room. When he has gathered all the Anbu members, he will take the initiative to come to him. The collapse plan of the country of water does not seem to be difficult, but the complexity and operational difficulty of a plan that can collapse a country is almost impossible to achieve. Even Yi Zan, who understands the essence, requires a lot of time and energy. Planning is like playing a game of chess. The plan is a chess book, but when you actually play chess, you can't just copy it. Have a meeting, gather people, There should be another hour of boring time. I haven't seen Makoto for a long time, let's go to the ninja school. The current location happened to be very close to the ninja school. After making the decision, Yi-zan immediately turned around, walked through a few paths, turned a few corners, and came out of the alley opposite the school. Yi-zan's face was stunned for a moment, and unexpectedly found that the school gate was full of people, and the crowd was divided into two waves. One side was the fan group in uniform, and the other was Yi-zan's old acquaintance. Namikaze Minato, stop struggling. Last night's murder on the village North Old Street. We suspect it is related to you. We have already checked. You are the only ninja living in the surrounding streets. Although it's just a ninja school scum, but killing ordinary civilians is fine. Quote. The leader Uchiha sneered. His tone was full of malice. He raised his hand to grab someone, but Shikaku next to Minato stood up and slapped the other's hand off. Uchiha Fugaku, don't be too arrogant. This is Nadaime II, the ninja school built by Sama himself. There is no definite proof. You don't want to touch anyone in the school, and... Are you really doing this well? Shikaku stared at each other with a serious face, showing the momentum of the Nara family at a young age. Minato is Shimura-zan's friend, and we are Shimura-zan's friend. If you want to get revenge on him, you can ask him to one-on-one, but Minato is arrested. You will lose your identity as Uchiha Fugaku. Quote. Humph. Uchiha Fugaku's face was blue at Shikaku's words. He stared at Shikaku, then looked over at Makoto who was hiding at the back, and bit Kiba. His voice suddenly became louder. Nara Shikaku, Yamanaka Inoichi, Akamichi Choza, and your Inuzuka Claw, I have endured you for so long because of the face of your four families. My grievance with Shimura-zan has never been added to you or Namikaze Minato, but the old street in the north of the village. Murder case. Namikaze Minato has a serious suspicion. Whether he is the murderer is pending, but he must be taken away by us. This is the rule of the police department. No, if Minato is taken away by you, can he still come out? Uchiha Fugaku, you are abusing your power. Believe it or not, I will sue you at Lord Hokage. Inuzuka clawed her fist. The black pill on her head cooperated with anger called. However, Inuzuka's claw's warning had no effect. Not only that, when Uchiha Fugaku heard the other party's words, his eyes lit up and he suddenly laughed. Sue me. Ha, sue me. Oops, I forgot if you didn't say it. Now Konoha is in crisis on all sides, and he still has to rely on our big family to help defend. Even if he sue me, what can Sarutobi do to me? Quote. Indeed, now with the Konoha crisis, Sarutobi dare not touch you for the sake of the bigger picture, but what if I touch you? The familiar voice made Uchiha Fugaku's pupils shrink sharply. He turned his head suddenly, and his face instantly became extremely hideous. Kai, village, Zan. Boom. The terrifying chakra burst out, crushing the ninja school children a few steps back. Uchiha Fugaku bit Kiba and stared at Yi-zan, as if every word wanted to tear him apart. Tisk tisk, I said, how dare you dare to provoke me, so you have become a jonin. Yi-zan teased and walked towards Uchiha Fugaku step by step. Chakra, who had just become a jonin, did not affect him at all. Too weak. So it turns out that being a jonin, you think you can crush me, and the deterrent power of the face fruit will disappear. Yi-zan frowned, thinking that the first ability of the face fruit is too weak. According to common sense, since the second ability is an auxiliary system, then the first ability is the attack type, but now, the attack type effect is weaker than the auxiliary effect, so common sense does not hold. There is only one truth. In other words, the way you use your first ability is too low-end. Thinking of this, Yizan decided to study the first ability in the future, but now. Small steps changed to big steps changed to running. Yizan rushed towards Uchiha Fugaku like a gust of wind. The moment the two met was destined to be another battle, but this time, the battle was much easier than expected. Run forward, stop. Yizan immediately leaned back to avoid the attacking fist, and when the fist wind blew through his hair, he raised his hand and grabbed Fugaku's arm. Moment Fugaku focused his attention on his arm, all the chakras of the elite Chunin gathered on his feet, and futon wind style kicked him suddenly to break his face. Boom! Uchiha Fugaku vomited blood and flew out. The next second, Yizan applied futon wind style to ultimate again, leaned forward, and grabbed Uchiha Fugaku's wrist with lightning speed. The impact of the kick and Yizan's pulling formed a terrifying reaction force. The instant tearing caused the bones to rattle, and the pain made Uchiha Fugaku's face pale. Afterwards, Yizan paused with his right foot, and on the left side of his body, the chakra was concentrated at the elbow, horizontally, and pushed hard towards the opponent's heart. Boom! A shock. On the outer wall of the school building, Uchiha Fugaku formed a big character deep inside, completely losing consciousness. Chapter 54 _ Comrades. Just kidding, the Kurigakure fighting technique that Jonin broke out of the Kurigakure body technique. Can you, a parallel importer who is new to Jonin, be able to beat it? At the school gate, Yizan held his chin arrogantly, his face full of pride. It all happened so suddenly that no one could react. Fugaku was knocked unconscious, and several Chunin people who came with him immediately pulled Fugaku out from the outer wall. They carried Fugaku to the hospital in a panic, and they didn't forget to say a few harsh words before leaving. Don't be complacent, kid, I beat the young patriarch of our Uchiha family, Our young patriarch will never stop with you. Bah, a few idiots, courting death. Yizan gestured to make a move, and suddenly a few people screamed and fled in fright. Seeing the embarrassed appearance of this group of people, Yizan couldn't help laughing. What are you running for? Didn't you just say harsh words? What are you young patriarchs? Even if your patriarchs come, I'm not afraid. If he dares to appear, I will beat him into a dog. Wow! The immature dog barked, and Haimaru howled in dissatisfaction. It lay on Inuzuka's paw, staring at Yizan very aggrieved, saying that he should not insult the dog. Okay, I was just joking, how could they be called dogs? I'll make them cats, okay. Yizan rubbed Haiwen's head until Haiwen snorted comfortably twice. He turned his head to the other people. Hello, comrades. Hello, brothers on. Comrades have worked hard. Serve the people. Such shameful words were exactly what Yizan forced everyone to say when they ate barbecued meat last time. He first bought Choza with 5 yakiniku, and at the expense of 10 yakiniku, let Choza persuade Shikaku to agree. Choza, who was caught in the food trap, did everything he could, and finally forced Shikaku to agree. Later, Yizan aimed at Haimaru. As long as Inuzuka agreed, he promised to invite Haimaru to eat the best dog food in the world. Coquetry, the little girl's Inuzuka claws couldn't handle it, so they had to agree, and the rest of Minato, Inoichi and Makoto would have no difficulty. Of course, only Yizan understands the stocks in it, and even so, it cannot extinguish the ambition in his heart. The ninja world has been in turmoil recently, and I will rarely have the opportunity to meet you in the future. This time I took the time to come to the school to find you. Come, Makoto, come here. Yizan beckoned, and suddenly Makoto's face turned to Yuhi. She stood there hesitating, until she was hugged by Yizan and woke up. Shimura-san, you. Oh, Makoto, how many times have I said it? In the future I have to call big brothers on, it's better to call big brothers on. Yizan domineeringly hugged Makoto, like a wolf from the north, you are my beloved baby. Calling me too unfamiliar. Zan, big brother Zan, you are bullying me again. Feeling the gazes from everyone, she lowered her head softly, shrinking into Yizan's arms like an ostrich. He he he. With a little beauty in his arms, Yizan was very proud. He glanced at everyone, waved his hand, and said as if he was a big brother, "Brothers, I finally came to school today and skipped school. Have a barbecue." Ah, eating barbecue again. Last time I played truant, Mr. Duanmu went to complain to my mother, and I was beaten badly when I went back. That's right, brothers on, can't we eat after school? Shikaku, Inoichi, what are you afraid of? Brothers on invited a custom-made luxury meal made by the best barbecue restaurant in Konoha. Even if you get beaten up, it doesn't matter. Humph. Choza, you obviously want to eat it yourself. Take your saliva back first. Also, your mother doesn't beat you, so of course you want to eat it. Everyone was talking about it, but they didn't realize that at this moment, Yizan stared at the alley not far away in surprise. In the alley, a man who was shrouded in black clothes from head to toe came out. So soon. Well, you come with me. Can I go to the barbecue? Can't. The sudden conversation caught everyone's attention, and it was only at this moment that they discovered the existence of the man in black in the alley. Brothers on, who is that? It feels so scary. Yes, I heard that usually dressed like this, they are all perverted clothes thieves who like to steal women's inner parts. Ah, then Makoto has to be careful, and you too, Little Claw. Wong wong wong. Yizan. Hataki Sakumo. The end. Yizan couldn't go to the barbecue with everyone. He returned to the Anbu base with Hataki Sakumo with resentment on his face, and kept saying, "You know I'm very busy at this time, Dad won't let me go out of Konoha. Tell me to learn all the basic skills of Anbu, see for yourself, with so many basic skills, isn't this exhausting me? For the time being, let's not talk about traps, drug production and other methods. Only password decryption and concealment skills are enough for me to learn, ." Yizan raised his head and found that Hataki Sakumo was ignoring him, so he couldn't help but continue to read. Let's not talk about the study, let's talk about this collapse plan. How difficult, commanding you Anbu who don't understand anything, how much I am it's hard work, you know. But what about you? You don't even give me time to eat a barbecue, you say, are you too much? Yizan raised his head again and found that Hataki Sakumo was still ignoring him. The corner of his mouth choked, and his face puffed out angrily. Do you dare to say a word? Do you dare? 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 Boom. With a loud noise, Yizan sank into the ground full of leaves. Hataki Sakumo glanced at Yizan lightly with his fists squeezed, turned around, and walked into the Anbu gate without looking back. Next Wednesday night, that is, Thursday, January 28th, it will be on the shelves at 0:00 in the morning, and 10 updates will break out by then. If the subscription exceeds 1,000, there will be 15 more updates. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 55_Unite People's Hearts. Anbu base, 300 people stood neatly in the empty square. Hataki Sakumo stood half behind Yizan and lowered his head slightly to show respect. Konoha has many places without Anbu, and a small number of Anbu are performing important tasks. These 300 people are the number of people Hokage has selected as much as possible. He asked me to tell you that I hope you can hurry up and train your manpower. Hataki Sakumo paused and continued, the frontal battlefield is about to start. Tomorrow noon, Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya will lead the first ninja army to the border to defend the country of wind. After Mr. Danzo borrowed money from Daimyo, he will also join the battlefield. The water country has not been invaded for the time being. The head of the Hyuga clan has led some Konoha clan ninjas to garrison. According to the information obtained from the spies, Kurigakure will attack within a month. Well, I understand. Yizan nodded, and then swept his gaze into the square. He looked at these ninjas silently, and found that most of the ninjas had puzzled expressions in their eyes. Yeah, doubtful. Anbu is a place that obeys the rules, even if it is Danzo's son, but Yizan is always just a chunin who has just joined Anbu, a mere rookie, and now he is actually standing in front of Hataki Sakumo. Not only that, looking at Yizan's posture, it seems that Hatake Tsukumo is reporting the situation to Yizan, but how is it possible? Hatake Tsukumo is Minister Anbu. Doubt, it means not understanding. Not understanding, it means it is difficult to cooperate. Even if Anbu's rules made them cooperate, they would resist in their hearts. Collapsing a country is easy and simple, but difficult, more difficult than imagined. The first point is cooperation, which requires everyone's cooperation, and requires everyone's meticulous cooperation. The super-huge plan cannot be done by Yizan alone. Everyone who executes the plan is a part of the planning machine. If Yizan is the engine, then Anbu is the part and the screw. It must be taken seriously. Following the plan will make the machine run successfully. Yizan understood this from the beginning, so he asked Sarutobi to issue an order, so that the entire Anbu, including Hatake Tsukumo, had to obey his own arrangements. Hatake Tsukumo is loyal to Sarutobi, and at the same time he knows the importance of the plan for the collapse of the land of water. He doesn't care about power and face, so after entering the base, he seems to have changed his personality in an instant. Yizan walked in front, and he respectfully walked half a step behind. Of course, everything is just a show. Yizan can't believe that Hatake Tsukumo is really so respectful to himself. After all, just a few minutes ago, the bag on his forehead was knocked out by the other party. Yizan touched his forehead, glanced at the square again, then coughed a few times, and finally turned serious. The 300-person large-scale Super S-level mission is now released. Lord Hokage has an order. In the next 3 months, Minister Anbu and all the members present will take my order as the first order, and the minister's order as the second. Execute the order, and if there is a conflict between me and the minister, follow my order. Do you understand? After Yizan finished speaking, no one answered. The audience was silent, a strange silence, full of unbelief and resistance. Once again, this Super S-level mission is about the survival of Konoha. If it fails, Konoha will disappear completely. I know you are not convinced, you are doubtful, but I don't care, I will stand here and explain. Don't follow my orders, would. Ye must die. Do you understand? Got it. A strong roar appeared behind Yizan. Hatake Tsukumo suddenly bent over, and fell to one knee on the ground under the unbelievable gazes of all Anbu and Yizan. Minister Anbu accepts the arrangement of Lord Hokage. From now on, my order will be the second, and the order of Lord Zan will be the first. If you agree with each other, Lord Zan's order will be the highest order. Like a spring that was suppressed to the extreme, as Hatake Tsukumo knelt down, complete power erupted. At that moment, 300 Anbu knelt down at the same time, and a neat voice rose into the sky. I understand. Anbu Base Minister's office, 2 cups of green tea with a faint fragrance. Tisk tisk tisk, I didn't expect that you, Hatake Tsukumo, could actually act to such an extent. You did a good job just now. I forgave you for beating me earlier. Yizan took a sip from the teacup, squinted his eyes, taste the taste of clear tea. For Konoha, in order to gather everyone's hearts, it's nothing to kneel down, but you, Hokage-sama said before, you want to teach everyone a lot of knowledge. Are you in a hurry? Hatake Tsukumo also took a sip of tea, with indifferent eyes a touch of laziness. Hey, you said it was for Konoha just now, but looking at your eyes, you don't seem to be in a hurry. Yizan was puzzled. For some reason, he always felt that he had seen such eyes before. What am I worried about? I used to do things seriously, because I am Minister Anbu, I can't let Konoha's safety go wrong. But in the next 3 months, you are in charge of the whole plan. I am in your charge, so whatever happens, what's the matter, don't you have to bear it? Hatake Tsukumo smiled, and at that moment, a masked dead fisheye appeared in Yizan's mind. Damn it, Kakashi. What? No, nothing, I thought of something. Oh, so that's it. But you said that the name sounds good, Kakashi. Hatake. It seems to be better with the word Hatake. Xiaoshuan, what do you think? I don't know if Kakashi can be used as a name. It doesn't matter, right? I think the 3 words Kakashi sound good with Hataki, It's decided. In the future, when I have a son, I will name it Hataki Kakashi. If it is a daughter. Yizan. Chapter 56_peak at Tsunade Wash. There are stacks of documents in the bright minister's office, and half of the tea in the cup has already lost its heat. Yizan read the document in his hand attentively, biting his nails from time to time. Not bad, Shadow Force number 3 can make this plan more convenient. Number 8, number 11 and number 20 also have some effect. Just these few, Hataki Sakumo asked with a frown. Number 1 is the deputy foreign minister of the Land of Water, number 2 is the son-in-law of the daimyo of the Land of Water, and number 3 is just the Minister of the Interior. He is the most important. So you don't understand, so this plan must be carried out by me. Yizan smiled confidently, threw the information on the table, glanced at the half cup of tea on the table, raised his chin, help me heat the water. Add it yourself. I'm your boss now. Hee hee. Hey, how dare you sneer. Don't forget, when our opinions are different, I must be the master. Come and heat me water. Hee hee. After the two joked, the topic returned to business again. Yizan rubbed his temples and pondered. After 10 minutes, he said softly, I know all the 20 senior members of the Shadow Spy Unit. How about the junior members? How many? What role did they play in the Land of Water? The Country of Water was cleaning up spies, but because of the Country of Wind, they hid in advance, and the losses were not too heavy. There are currently 230 civilians, 70 small merchants, 30 medium-sized merchants, 8 long-distance trade merchants, 38. It's a pity that there are only 2 spies who are disguised as ninjas dead. That's fine. Can you? Well, the role of ninjas in this plan is very small, and the role of businessmen is extremely large. The senior spy number 3 is the Minister of Internal Affairs of the Waterland, but in order to make the plan easier to implement, all spies have to move, number 1 to 20 and all the junior members, all to move. All. As if shocked by Yizan's words, Hataki Sakumo stood up with a collapse. No way. They have been hiding in the Land of Water for 10 years for the longest time, and they already have deep connections. If they are all dispatched for the plan, it is equivalent to saying that the entire Shadow the Spy Force will be scrapped. It is impossible for a country not to arrange spies, absolutely not. Quote. It's the same sentence, carry out my order, this time it's not a joke. Yizan looked at the other party lightly, with a calm but unquestionable tone. The two looked at each other like this, with determination in their eyes that would never change. The atmosphere in the office became more and more solemn, and after an unknown period of time, the atmosphere relaxed. Hataki Sakumo sighed softly, and sat down, feeling a little helpless. Lowered his head. You stinky brat, I will abolish the Shadow Spy Unit that I have worked so hard to run for 10 years in one sentence. I follow the rules and will cooperate with you, but you have to tell me why you do it. Why? Yizan was silent, stood up, slowly opened the door of the office and walked out. The moment he went out, he suddenly turned his head and a bright smile appeared on his face. It's very simple. After this operation, the Country of Water will not be able to recover its vitality for decades. Your spy troops are old in the Country of Water. Why don't you bring back Konoha to do other tasks? Yizan left the Anbu base. It was already 10 p.m. There was no need to hurry to train the Anbu members. Danzo and the 2 advisors went to the Country of Fire to borrow money. It would take at least a week for Yizan to teach him knowledge. Konoha, where there are no festivals, the residents usually go to bed very early, and the streets are empty and empty. Yizan walked on the street step by step, and the street lamps and the moonlight constantly overlapped his shadow. Is it here? Looking at the rusted Madara guardrail in front of him, Yizan knew that it was the home of the slacker Tsunade without even thinking. He supported the guardrail and jumped lightly, turned into the flower garden, and then blessed the wind element chakra on the soles of his feet. Like the rat slipped in like a rat. The door was locked, but Yizan couldn't be stumped. He looked up at the 3-story building, his eyes lit up, and then he put the whole person on the outer wall, and with both hands, like a gecko, he climbed up little by little. The outer wall climbed to the left side of the 2nd floor, next to the lit window. A burst of water vapor gushed out, and the melodious singing was disturbed by the sound of crashing. Yizan's face froze. Could it be? Yizan's heartbeat suddenly accelerated, and his eyes almost turned into 2 peach hearts, but he knew that it was time to calm down. He took a few deep breaths, and his energy was reduced to the extreme. Put your head in. The water was misty and hot, and the looming body had no trace of excess weight. Yizan greedily looked at Tsunade for the bath without making any sound. The nervous Tsunade naturally didn't notice Yizan. She was still humming, and the soap bubbles covered her body. Maybe she felt that it was almost the same. She finally stood under the faucet and rinsed with hot water. Her body completely appeared in front of Yizan. Wow, when did it become a C cup? Yizan was stunned, swallowed subconsciously, and with the sound of Ji Yudong in his throat, Yizan was slightly stunned, blinked, and looked at each other. Small, color, ghost. The shy and angry voice burst out with the terrifying chakra, and then, Yizan's neck was hooked by the fragrant and slender jade hand. Before he could react, his body was pulled in with a whoosh. Bastard, you peeped at me taking a shower. You are dead today. Tsunade, listen to my explanation. Listen to me explain ah. Bang bang ping ping pong. Next Wednesday night, that is, Thursday, January 28th, it will be on the shelves at 0:00 in the morning, and 10 updates will break out by then. If the subscription exceeds 1,000, there will be 15 more updates. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 57 _ there are 2 days left. At noon the next day, with Tsunade, a quasi-cage level powerhouse, as the leader, and Orochimaru and Jiraiya as the deputy leaders, they led about 1,000 ninjas to the border of the Fire Country. Their task is to repel the invading Sand Ninjas and build a fort in the strategic border city of Musha City, to resist the Sand Ninja attack. Sarutobi's pre-war encouragement was over, and the 1,000-man ninja army was about to set off. At this moment, Yizan came to the scene slowly shaking his hands behind his back. He was completely unscathed, as if the beating last night was an illusion. Well, of course it's not a hallucination, but don't forget, Tsunade is Konoha's top medical ninja, trauma or something, healed in a few seconds. Jiraiya, protect Tsunade, but don't have any thoughts about her. If I hear anything, you'd better never go back to Konoha, or I'll definitely cut your chicken. Operator. Jiraiya was embarrassed, as if he felt a cold aura surrounding him. He subconsciously tightened his legs and shouted angrily, "Stinky brat! How dare you threaten me? You have the ability to cut it. I am not scared, Jiraiya." Quote. Originally, where there are Sarutobi, Jiraiya would not rush like this, but what kind of occasion is this? There are 1,000 ninjas gathered around. You dare to threaten the deputy commander, you put my face on it. However, his provocation was like a clown jumping on the beam. Yizan just glanced at the other party lightly, and stopped talking. His arrogant attitude made Jiraiya jump up and down with anger, and wanted to beat Yizan down immediately, but in Tsunade's more terrifying eyes, Jiraiya could only shrink his neck and did not dare to teach Yizan a lesson. Threatening Jiraiya, Yizan turned his attention to Orochimaru. How to say? Yizan frowned and thought. He was completely unfamiliar with Orochimaru, and he never even said a word. Not that he looks down on Orochimaru, it's just that the two have different personalities and there is no way to communicate. However, since he and Tsunade already have this relationship, as an important teammate of Tsunade before, now and in the future, Yizan feels that he can connect with Orochimaru and connect emotionally. But what kind of relationship is it, you bastard? Tsunade pouted angrily. Yizan's performance today was completely self-proclaimed as a boyfriend. After thousands of ninjas had assembled and were about to set off, he actually came out and said these thoughtful and domineering words. Tell Jiraiya to take good care of me. But not allowed to have ideas. What is it? The old lady doesn't admit it at all, you little pervert. Thought so, but for some reason, Tsunade didn't shout out the words in her heart. Even if she was watched by thousands of ninjas, she resisted the shyness in her heart and stood beside her without saying a word. Maybe it was last night. Thinking of last night's absurdity, Tsunade's cheeks suddenly flashed Yuhi's dizzy. She was peeped by Yizan last night, and out of anger, she pulled Yizan in naked and beat him hard. You can't avoid physical contact when you beat him. Yizan is also daring. Even if he was beaten up by Tsunade, he seized every opportunity to eat tofu. The end, Tsunade felt it. She shyly wanted to blast Yizan out, but Yizan was sticky like a dog's skin plaster, and he couldn't shake it off. In desperation, Tsunade compromised again and treated Yizan with sage art. After a while, he hugged Yizan and fell asleep comfortably. Don't think about it. It's just a simple sleep. Tsunade is not stupid. There are conditions for compromise. As long as he doesn't move his feet, it's okay to sleep with him in his arms. Anyway, after a series of situations last night, the relationship between the two seems to be a little different. At least at this moment, when Yizan acted like a boyfriend in front of everyone, Tsunade didn't admit it or refuse. The ninja army left Konoha neatly, looked at Tsunade's back. Yizan laughed a few times, looked left and right, saw that everyone including Sarutobi had disappeared, and immediately took a path and walked towards the ninja school. Tsunade is not easy to attack, but silly Makoto is easy. Yizan is going to take this opportunity to continue to attack Makoto. Gia, my little Makoto. Yi Shuanxi smiled, imagining whether to pinch his face or touch his hands first when he saw Makoto, but just as he walked through two streets, a masked shadow directly blocked the road ahead. Hataki Sakumo, what are you doing? I said it all, there's still a week left, enough to train Anbu members into smart people. Don't bother me, I'm going to pick up girls. Yizan scolded around Hataki Sakumo and wanted to walk forward, but before he took 2 steps, Hataki Sakumo grabbed his arm directly. I just received the news that at 3 o'clock this morning, Mr. Danzo, the 2 major advisors, and the members of Root, have arrived in Damingfu. It is expected that the fundraising time will not exceed 1 day, and the delivery will be back. It will arrive at Konoha about the night after tomorrow. Damn, why so fast? Did they take rat medicine? Hey, Konoha is facing life and death now, do you think everyone is as leisurely as you? In order to raise money as soon as possible, Mr. Danzo and his party burst into full force, and there is no time to rest in the middle. You will return to the base with me immediately, time is pressing, and the most important thing is get all the prep work done in 2 days. Quote. Chapter 58 _ Plan to start. Mie City, the land of water. Yizan and Hataki Sakumo are sitting in a spacious shop drinking tea. 10 billion raised from the daimyo was finally shipped back to Konoha. In the past 2 days, Yizan also trained Anbu members to be flexible employees. Under the cover of spies from the land of water, Yizan, Hataki Sakumo and 300 Anbu members were divided into 10 teams to dive into the land of water. If you open the map of the land of water, you can find that Yizan's Mie City happens to be located in the middle of the water country. It is only a few islands away from the capital of the water country and the village of Kurigakure. Senior members of the Shadow Army, you don't need to take action in the early stage. You 10 do as I taught before. Remember, you must come to Mie City to report the situation to me every night before 10 o'clock, and I will revise the plan at any time according to your report. The water country collapse plan can't tolerate the slightest omission, do you understand? Understood. Yizan and the 10 captains in the Anbu base before leaving Konoha. Different from the original Anbu group, in order to better execute the plan, Yizan disrupted all the teams and redivided 10 teams. A brigade of 30 people, the brigade is divided into 10 squads, each squad 3 people. Sanchong City, where Yizan was located at the very center of the land of water, and these 10 brigades occupied 10 large island cities, perfectly surrounding Sanchong City in the center. Among the brigade, 10 squads will be centered on the island where the brigade leader is located, and will be scattered in a circle around various small and medium islands. Sakumo, did the junior members of the spy unit speak clearly? The news was passed on to them yesterday. All the merchant spies have purchased shops in the cities where they are stationed. The civilian spies are always on call and cooperate with Anbu in their missions. Very good. Yizan nodded, raised the teacup to moisten his throat. 10 billion has been distributed to 10 battalions. They have also understood all the skills during the 2 days of training, and the battalion leader will come to me every day to report the situation. Now the most important thing is, when will Kurigakure attack Konoha? Quote. According to the information sent back by the number 2 spy, the daimyo has used a lot of money to buy war items such as kunai and detonation charms, and they will be shipped to Kurigakure village soon. I speculate that within a month, Kurigakure will attack Konoha. 1 month. It's okay. It's more in line with the plan I made earlier. From tomorrow, the businessman spies will work with Anbu to try to complete the acquisition plan within a month. Yizan drank the tea in one breath, and then walked from the inner hall to the outer hall of the shop. He waved and called the 2 low-level businessman spies outside. Master Zan, what's your order? No, 104 will continue to guard the store and entertain the minister. On the 105th, you will come with me and accompany me to buy cloth. I don't want to be the only one who fails to complete the task after a month. Since Yizan dived into the land of water, there have been several people running back and forth in all large, medium and small cities in the land of water, running around in major commercial districts, constantly buying cloth. The cloth in the land of water is sold in boxes, 100,000 taels a box, although it is very expensive, but a box is enough to make a dozen clothes. All operations were carried out very secretly. All 300 Anbu were wearing coarse cloth clothes or silk clothes provided by spy merchants, as if they really needed cloth, and no shopkeeper found the problem. Kurigakure ninjas, Yizan disguised himself as Hideyoshi, and ran around Mie City every day, inspecting the consumption power and economic construction of the entire city, and buying fabrics from various fabric stores and clothing stores. Kurigakure ninjas continue to gather at the border, as if they want to cross the sea to attack Konoha at any time. The border of the country of fire, the owner of the Hyuga branch also builds a fort with 400 pioneer ninjas. Once Kurigakure attacks, they can rely on a powerful fortress to resist for a period of time. On the other side, Konoha and Sand Ninja were fighting bloody and brutal. After Tsunade's 1,000-man ninja army arrived, they immediately cleared the small Sand Ninja team in the territory. Sand Ninja also discovered this. In order to avoid unnecessary sacrifices, the third-generation Kazekage ordered Sand Ninja to withdraw to the border of the Land of Wind. Soon, more than 2,000 Sand Ninjas gathered on the border of the Land of Wind. I really didn't expect that the Sand Ninja vanguard was actually led by Kazekage. At present, there is no strong man in our team who can compete with Kazekage. Tsunade, what should we do next? In the camp of the Konoha ninja army, Jiraiya tugged his hair in distress. Although he was an idiot, he knew the difference between cage level and quenying. Tsunade alone could not stop Kazekage. The atmosphere in the Chinese army tent was a little dignified. Tsunade glanced at the tent and sighed unwillingly. Although the camp was full of elite jonin, facing Kazekage, everyone felt a sense of powerlessness in their hearts. This is a qualitative gap, which cannot be made up by the number of people. To beat Kazekage, this is not a shameful thing. The reason why Tsunade is not reconciled is not this, but the first time she led the team, she suffered an almost inevitable ending. How can she endure this arrogance? Usually Orochimaru leads the team, but this time I finally got the command of the army because I broke through the quasi-shadow, but I met Kazekage. It's abominable. Isn't the shadow of the village very important? Why did Kazekage appear in the vanguard? Tsunade cursed inwardly, as if thinking of something, and subconsciously aimed his gaze at Orochimaru. As expected, Orochimaru still had a cold face and did not show the slightest panic. Orochimaru, is there anything you can do? Tsunade tapped the table, and her words caught everyone's attention. A way. He. There is a way. Orochimaru smiled sinisterly, like a poisonous snake, exuding an icy aura all over his body. Fortunately, everyone was used to Orochimaru's character for a long time, and they looked at Orochimaru seriously, waiting for Orochimaru's next words. Maybe it's unacceptable to everyone, but from a rational point of view, the best way at the moment is to retreat and wait for the support of Lord Danzo and the Root Department. Chapter 59 _ In 3 weeks, the second step plan starts. 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks later, 1,500 Kurigakure ninja troops on the border of the water country crossed the sea by boat and began to attack Konoha on all fronts. The Legion commander is the Patriarch of Shui Wuyu, and the Deputy Legion commander is the Great Elder of the Ghost Lantern clan. It can be said that, except for the second-generation Mizukage Ghost Lantern Huan-Yu, almost the masters of the entire Water Kingdom have joined this war. 3 times the number, terrifying strength, the defensive fortress was broken almost instantly, and the head of the Hyuga branch was forced to lead the ninja to retreat. They had to wait for the Kurigakure ninjas to disperse in the Country of Fire before they could fight back. It hasn't been a month yet, this ghost lantern is really urgent enough. In the cloth shop in Mie City, Yizan took a leisurely sip of tea, but Hatake Sakumo beside him rarely showed a trace of anxiety. Xiaozan, is it almost there? It's time to implement the next plan. We have wasted a whole month of the previous preparations in these 3 weeks, and there are still 2 months left, but there is nothing in the Country of Water. Happened, did your crash plan work? It's not Hatake Sakumo's anxiety or his skepticism, after all, Konoha is at stake right now. Last week, there was news from Tsunade, because Danzo participated in the battle for 3 generations of Kazekage, plus the quasi-cage level Tsunade, the strength of the Konoha Hefeng Country Vanguard Corps is not much different, and the 2 countries are fighting on the border. The country is waiting for the water country to attack. Not only that, once the Kurigakure ninja army defeats the ninja army led by the head of the Hyuga branch, the Sand Ninja will definitely change the situation and launch an attack again. Dropping Konoha has always been the wish of the Kingdom of Thunder. Don't worry, Sakumo, I've never fought a battle that I'm not sure about. It's said that 3 months will collapse the Kingdom of Water, and there won't be many days. Do you think these 3 weeks are wasted? Wrong. These 3 weeks are the most important 3 weeks. Lay a solid foundation for the Water Nation's collapse plan. Perhaps finding that Hatake Sakumo didn't understand, Yizan turned to Byakugan, too lazy to continue explaining. This kind of method is extremely high-end even in the 21st century, and it is difficult for people to understand just by explaining it. Only after seeing it with your own eyes will you feel the horror of the plan. Even so, as long as you don't understand the essence of it, it is impossible to copy the plan. Last night, I have compiled the reports of 10 brigade captains. We have purchased 40% of the country's fabrics at a price of 100,000 taels per box with 5 billion funds. We have almost reached the conditions for the next step. Huh? Hatake Sakumo was stunned, as if he had discovered something, and asked in surprise. No, Xiaoshuan, only 40% of the fabrics were purchased with 5 billion funds. Our total funds are only 10 billion yuan, can't we even collect the fabrics? What's so surprising about this? Yizan glanced at the other person suspiciously. 10 billion seems like a lot, but in fact it's just a small part of the Land of Fire's 10-year tax revenue. What do you think the tax is? Apart from the poll tax, most of the taxes come from commercial transactions. 5% and 8% are generally collected, and our 10 billion is saved by collecting fees for all transactions in the country. Quote. I know what you're saying. I mean, well, I really don't understand why you're taking so much cloth. What are you doing? You're too stupid, you don't understand what you said. You will follow me obediently for the next 2 months. Talk less, do less, and see more. One day you will understand. Yizan's elder-like attitude made Hatake Sakumo stare in anger, but now that Yizan is in charge, he really has nothing to do. Although the curiosity in his heart is itchy like a cat's scratch, he can only hold his breath and wait for Yizan to take the initiative to reveal it. Puzzle. I'm stupid, I admit it, but can you tell me how long it takes to plan the next step? Now. Hatake Sakumo was stunned for a moment, obviously not responding. Now. Yes, it's already 9 o'clock in the evening, and in 1 hour, 10 captains will arrive in Mie City from all directions. Boom. With a loud bang, Yizan slammed the table and stood up suddenly. He raised his chin high, and his eyes burst into a strong domineering. Kurigakure attacks Konoha, and all the defensive ninjas in the Land of Water will definitely gather in Kurigakure village and Daming House to protect the safety of important people. That is to say, there will be no Kurigakure ninjas at the end of the streets and villages in the country of water. Quote. Tonight, I will assign new tasks to the 10 captains. All the spies of the Spy Corps will act and cooperate with Anbu. Tomorrow morning, the second step of the plan will officially start. 12 o'clock on Wednesday night, there will be 10 more outbreaks. If the subscription exceeds 1,000, there will be 15 more updates. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 60 _ price increase. The next morning, in a small village on an island in the Land of Water, a man with a full beard mysteriously approached a young man's ear. Hey, Ida, have you heard that war is about to break out? Nonsense, who doesn't know about this kind of thing? No, that's not what I'm talking about. You know, because of the thick water vapor in the air in our country of water, many things cannot be planted, especially cotton, hemp, and silk that need to be imported from abroad. Someday China or other countries will block foreign trade transactions. At that time, these things cannot be imported. What should we wear? Quote. Isn't it? The young man was stunned for a moment, obviously stumped by this question. He frowned and thought for a while, then said slowly, aren't our seafood products also exported to other countries? If we block foreign trade. Quote. Hey, Ida, you think about our country too well. You know, decisions at the national level don't care about the lives of us civilians. Perhaps thinking that it was almost done, the bearded man patted the young man on the shoulder earnestly, and suddenly took out the money in his purse. See, this is my savings for a few years. No matter what you think, anyway, I plan to take all the money to buy fabrics. Once countries cut off foreign trade transactions, the price of fabrics will skyrocket until the end of the war. Not only that, have you ever thought that if this war is fought for 10 or 20 years, the fabrics in our country's inventory can't support the consumption of millions of people at all? All that said, think about it for yourself. I'm going to buy fabrics. After the bearded man finished speaking, he quickly disappeared, leaving only the young man frowning and thinking. After thinking for a long time, he felt that what the bearded man said was very reasonable, and immediately gave up going out and turned to run towards his house. Wife, quickly take out all the remaining money at home, I'm going to buy cloth. Scenes like this happened constantly in cities and villages of all sizes in the Land of Water, and the first people to spread the news were members of the Spy Corps. In order to obtain more information, the spies are good at communication, especially those who have been lurking in the Land of Water for many years, and they are all acquaintances in Shiliba village. The businessman's spies didn't act, they didn't need to act, and now the action would only be a shock to the grass. In Yizan's plan, the businessman was a more important piece of chess, and it was only in the early stage of the plan, so there was no need to use it. The evening, in a cloth shop in Mie City, 10 elite jonin were silent, and everyone looked at Yizan and Hatake Sakumo respectfully. Master Zan, according to your order last night, we have sent all Anbu and all civilian spies to spread the news, but for some reason, less than 2 out of 10 people are willing to buy cloth, and even 10 people are unwilling to buy cloth if they are unlucky. Cloth. The same is true of Hamasaki Castle and the dozen or so cities around it that I am in charge of. I am in charge of making Machung worse. I'm here too. The words of the 10 captains made Hatake Sakumo's heart sink. He turned his head to look, but found that Yizan was drinking tea leisurely, with a light-hearted look. Xiaoshuan, stop drinking, your plan went wrong. Hatake Sakumo voice was urgent. No matter how he didn't understand it, he knew that something was wrong. If it didn't change, the whole plan would be in vain. However, Yizan was still drinking tea leisurely. He smashed his mouth, pointed to the teacup and said, "I like this kind of tea, add some hot water for me." Xiaozan. Okay. Yizan was helpless, put down the teacup and leaned on the chair lazily. His voice was calm, with confidence in his calm. "Today I walked around Sanchong City, and just like you said, I made a special trip to the fabric store with money. There are very few people who buy several large boxes of cloth, including our own store, and we only sold 2 major customers, but... What are you anxious about? We are in a hurry. You are not in a hurry. Xiaoshuan, now Konoha is facing the pressure of the 2 countries, and will face the 4 countries in the future. We Konoha will perish at any time. What are you thinking?" Hatake Sakumo would have roared if it wasn't for his calmness, but even so, he clenched his fists tightly, obviously suppressing his emotions. "I didn't think about it. No one bought it in the early stage. It was a normal thing. Humans are naturally suspicious. Most people believe in the principle of, hearing is false, seeing is true. Most of them won't come to buy cloth. Then you. What's the hurry?" Yizan glanced at Hatake Sakumo, then his calm and confident appearance quickly infected everyone, and the emotions of Hatake Sakumo and the 10 captains gradually stabilized. At this moment, the atmosphere in the room was solemn and slow, but there was no impatience. Yizan closed his eyes in thought, and after some time, he finally opened his eyes. His eyes were bright and bright. "There is only one task for tomorrow. You 300 Anbu disguised as civilians to buy fabrics. If you want to show madness and strong emotions in the store, isn't the market price 100,000 taels per box, so you buy it with 110,000. 110,000 boxes. We used 5 billion pieces to buy 40% of the country's fabrics, and now we are raising the price to buy them. Is there enough money? Don't worry, when I was trapped in the land of water, I already knew the layout of the city. The commercial shops of the land of water were all gathered in the city's business district, and every inch of land was expensive, which also resulted in the small area of each store. The fabric store is opened in the city, but the inventory is in the countryside and suburbs. There are at most 10 or 20 boxes in the city store. You will directly use the price of 110,000 boxes to sweep the goods tomorrow." Yes, the spies continue to cooperate with Anbu's propaganda. They don't believe the price of fabrics will go up. Good. I'll make them see it.